The Goodyear blimp, an ageless star in the sky.
The 246-foot-long airship will be in the background of the Daytona 500, flying roughly 1,500 feet above Daytona International Speedway to celebrate its greatest anniversary tour. Even though remote camera technologies are improving regularly and changing the landscape of the aerial footage, the blimp continues to carve out a niche. At Daytona, with the usual 40-car field racing around a 2.5-mile superspeedway, views from the blimp aptly provide the scope of the event. Keith Peters reporting.
State officials say a train derailment in rural Maine, it spilled hundreds of gallons of fuel and hospitalized 3 workers, was caused by a beaver dam. The Bangor Daily News reports an official with the Maine Land Use Planning Commission says water surged through the beaver dam and washed out part of the track. News and analysis at townhall.com. The House GOP makes official its plan for large cuts to Medicaid.
And announcing their intentions to move forward with a mammoth one-bill budget plan that will supposedly sweep up key elements of President Trump's fiscal agenda, enact tax cuts, and raise the debt ceiling. House Republicans have placed themselves on a collision course with not just members of their own conference, but also Senate Republicans. While it is not explicitly stated in the House Budget Committee's document, Medicaid and supplemental nutrition assistance programs are the programs most directly in the crosshairs. Even before the new Congress was sworn in this year, House Republicans made it clear Medicaid was on the chopping block, even as President Trump vowed to protect Social Security and Medicare at all costs. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Former Arkansas Governor Jim Guy Tucker, he was forced from office in the aftermath of the Whitewater investigation, has died. Tucker's daughter says the former governor died yesterday in Little Rock. Jim Guy Tucker was 81 years old. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel wish and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to it. It is Friday.
Yes.
Now,
indeed it is.
It's Chile out right now.
It's cold,
It's
yeah.
freezing.
Mm-hmm.
But allegedly, we're supposed to get to 71 today.
Ooh.
Supposed to get windy.
Well,
Like they're talking 15 to 20, gusting to 30 by this afternoon. But allegedly, we're getting to 71. I ain't gonna lie, I don't feel 71 coming our way. I just don't. I don't buy it. I don't believe
it's
you.
hard to after a day like yesterday. But remember, we were at 80 something like 3 days ago.
I know. It's New Mexico.
That's right.
It's like, why do you keep getting surprised? But I don't know. I'm walking around. I'm like, there's no way it's getting 71 today.
Trees are so confused, by the way. I saw a couple trying to bud the other day, and then they're like, the freeze happened.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't know what to do with my branches.
Speaking of,
okay.
you just the way you said that, it reminded me.
Oh, okay.
Not that words, but just the manner in which you said it. I was generally impressed by a documentary yesterday.
Really?
Yes. I watched at my lunch leisure. I watched. It's on Netflix. Tom Green.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Now I kind of grew up right in the heyday of Tom Green, so I kind of I was the audience,
right?
Kind of.
You were the target demo.
Yeah, and
which is funny because it's sort of aged with him.
Yeah. Now I think about it, I think he's probably around my age. I mean, there's probably a lot of similarities there. But anyway, so I kind of grew up kind of digging Tom Green and kind of like his shtick and everything else.
Right.
Freddie Got Fingered. I got the movie. I laughed.
100%.
Yeah,
I love
that was one of
that
those
movie.
things you either thought was the god awful movie of all time or brilliant, and I was
one of
brilliant.
the hardest laughs of my adolescence.
Yeah.
Was in that movie when he stood up to leave. It was like he's on a date with this woman she doesn't have the use of her legs.
Yeah,
and so he's like whipping her legs with a kendo stick, and he gets up to leave. He goes, "Well, all right, see you later." Whack, and then he just walks out. I fell on the floor laughing. Like, what a way to leave the room. Well, whack, see ya.
Yeah, he's so out there.
It's so good. It's a great movie.
But anyway, so he basically created a documentary. This is the Tom Green documentary.
So he made it.
Yeah, it's his. It's all his world here.
That seems
because it really follows his parents. Like, because if you've watched Tom Green show over the years, his parents were heavily involved.
Oh yeah.
in those bits and skits and things that he did. But I really learned a lot about like Tom Green, like because basically Americans found him in the probably early 2000s, late 90s.
I would say early mid 90s is what I would say.
Maybe when MTV picked him up.
Right, because like the Bum song that was real big in the 90s.
There was a few that was all MTV.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe my thing's off a little bit because like mid 90s. Yeah, because mid 90s he was
mid to late 90s.
Mid 90s he was doing a lot of his shtick in Canada. On the and that's what I kind of learned was he kind of started out as a rapper, weirdly enough.
See, and I didn't know. I know a lot about Tom Green's come up, but I did not know he was a rapper.
Yeah, him and his buddy, they were like a rap group. They got a record label, and that's what kind of got him his gig at the college radio station, which kind of begat everything else. But like the whole group is like all his people growing up from the cable access show. His buddies, like the Tom Green show, his sidekick. I can't remember the guy's name, Scipio, whatever his name is. The blonde-haired dude was kind of mild-mannered that always ended up with a lot of things dumped on him. But anyway, that's like his buddy from a kids.
Right.
And same with his other buddy that used to always sit in the window and laugh behind him. If you watched the earlier Tom Green.
I'm trying to pull up the cast here.
Yeah. And but anyway, it was
Humplick.
Yeah, that guy.
Yep.
They're all like his boys, and so. Yeah, and I even think like the camera guy that they use and everything it's like all from back in the Tom Green day. But I was really impressed, and to be honest, I forgot how big he really got at one point. He was a household name.
Let me put it this way: if Tom Green wasn't a thing, you would have no Eric Andre, you would have no Zach Galifianakis, you would have that whole idea of the awkward interview. Is sort of like birthed from Tom Green and from the way he does things.
And technically, you would have no Jackass.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because he was a big part of...
And it's funny you mention some of these things. I'll give you one more, too.
Okay.
Joe Rogan.
Really?
And Joe Rogan will tell you as much. And he talks about it in the documentary.
Huh.
You know why? Because because Tom Green... He's kind of the precursor to the podcast.
That is true.
He started a thing called Webovision, and he basically did a show out of his house whenever he felt like it on the internet.
And that was like when for us in America, there was a period where where we were all like, "Where'd Tom Green?"
Yeah, and this was post Tom Green show MTV days.
Right. That was his
when he got sick.
Height here in America,
and that's what happened. The Tom Green show never got canceled.
No,
he got cancer.
Did they reference the episode and the song?
Yeah, the whole deal. And then, they do a whole stuff.
Hey, kids, won't finish that song on the radio so you don't get cancer.
Yeah, it's, but anyway, it was a great documentary, and I was thoroughly to be honest, I got way more respect for Tom Green after watching that thing because I didn't realize how. And now, kind of another thing, I wish he should be our Stephen Colbert, our next what's
Tonight Show, late night show,
Kimmel. He should be that guy. That he's really good at it. Believe it or not, I was watching some of his clips and things.
And to this day, he's and granted, because obviously we all get older, things have toned down for him a lot. It's become more of just like a regular interview style show now.
And his idol is David Letterman.
Really?
He grew up as a kid, loved it. Like all his bits and skits.
And that makes a lot of sense because of
David Letterman.
Letterman's kind of off-kilter
When
way
Letterman
of doing
used
things.
to do his, dropping fruit off the side of the building and walk up and, get NBC security mad at him for various things and all that. That Tom Green was inspired by all that. We got to get the hour going.
Yep.
We got a food state for you. We got some great guests waiting patiently in the green room.
wings.
Yeah, in the wings. I say green room, but
there's very little green in that room.
yeah. Just mold. Kidding.
No, ours is black.
But we're going to be joined here in just a few minutes. Robert Sherman with the Walker Aviation Museum, and Sue Kritz will be joining us as well, author. We're talking about the big dedication for the missile silo placard this Sunday out at the Roswell Air Center there.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a little bit of story about and what it is. It's dedicating to the workers that died when they were building the missile silos back during the Cold War era here. And so Sue was doing a book on this topic and things, and she came across research and got really interested and fascinated with this stuff. And she ended up putting together, and they're dedicating a placard to the souls that were lost. And so. Anyway, that's on Sunday, but they're going to join us, and she's going to give us more of the story, and of course, invite everyone on out to the dedication ceremony this Sunday. So we'll do that this hour. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview with Dr. Keon Agar from Carabelli Dental. Not talking so much about his dental practice, more talking about the lay of the land in
a lot of malpractice
medicine
and stuff,
but stuff he wants to put on people's radar.
Absolutely.
That. Maybe talk to legislators about and stuff. But he's it's really interesting stuff. If you missed it earlier, I invite you to check it out next hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to get busy. We're going to have Barbara Gomez with Main Street Roswell join us, give us an update there. We'll also have the folks from the Roswell Public Library join us and give us an update on what they've got going on, too. So we'll get all that knocked out in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll also have all of your newses of the local, national variety, Wall Street business updates, spots. Not sports, but spoats. And whatever else we can come up with for this.
A real charcuterie board of entertainment.
Yeah. Yes, a cornucopia of things.
Cacophony.
All right, it is 7:16. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. Like I said, it's going to be 71 today, allegedly.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty warm today, but we will be cooling off a little bit with a cold front set to drop through. Windy today, a few gusts around 30 miles an hour, sunny, and we'll top out in the low 70s. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s to low 40s, cooler and gusty on Saturday. It will be sunny, though, afternoon highs in the low 60s. Clear on Saturday night, and then even cooler on Sunday, upper 50s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 32 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 64%. Winds just breezy enough to make it chilly. 13 winds out of the south, 13 miles per hour. They say we're going to hit 71 for today under partly cloudy skies. South winds will be 10 to 15 miles per hour this morning early. This afternoon, those winds will increase 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies with an overnight low of 40, so relatively warm overnight. Southwest winds at around 15 miles per hour. For the weekend on Saturday, sunny skies, 62 for a high. Winds will be breezy out of the northwest, 15 to 20. Once again, could see wind gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 29 degrees. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Then for your Sunday, sunny skies in the mid-50s, 56 for a high with north winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. But fear not, by President's Day on Monday, back up to partly cloudy skies with highs around 71. But looks like next week's going to roller coaster on us, kind of like this week did, because we're going to be 71 on Monday. Then they're talking mid-50s on Tuesday, 40s, upper 40s on Wednesday, then back to mid-50s on Thursday. So, but it is New Mexico, and you know how weather works around here. Give it a minute, it'll change. So, all right, it is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to take a quick 2.5-minute break, and then we're going to talk about the dedication of the placard for the missile silos and all that with the Walker Aviation Museum. That's coming up on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Have you ever had someone do something kind and out of the ordinary for you? How did that make you feel? I know for me, it brightens my day. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not get tired of doing what's right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." I've learned when you don't know what to do, just do the next right thing. Keep sowing good things into your spouse and your family. Be patient. God promises He will give you a harvest. It will make a difference. A successful farmer just keeps on working and expects to have a great harvest.
I know when my husband brings me flowers, it blesses me. So do something unexpected for your spouse. It will pay off.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Each year, FFA chapters around the country celebrate National FFA Week. It's a time to share what the FFA is and the impact it makes on our members every day. FFA helps the next generation rise up to meet world challenges by growing leaders, thinkers, and doers. Join Main Trailer Sales in recognizing these students during National FFA Week, February 15th through the 22nd. Help ensure FFA continues to thrive in our community. This message brought to you by Main Trailer Sales, a proud supporter of the FFA. Don't go camping
Sure,
without
you can
us.
inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you can call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. There are 293 ways to make change for $1. Try all 293 on the guy who keeps borrowing money from you. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, of course, Robert Sherman back with us, and author Sue Kritz as well. Good morning, guys. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed?
Shivering a bit.
Yeah, it is a bit chilly out. I'm sorry about that. I can't do anything about I tried to turn up the thermostat outside, but I think it's broke.
Now, Mike, you set it up so we could come Friday to talk about this.
Yeah.
Then I was sitting at home thinking, wait, Sue Kritz is in town. She's the one that got this whole thing going.
This is her baby.
This is totally 100% her deal.
Yeah.
So she's going to be with us, and I'll let her do all the talking. I'll shut up. People get tired of hearing me talk. So
yeah. So, but what we want to do before we kind of get into the story and everything, on Sunday here, this Sunday, February 16th at 1:30 p.m., we want to invite everyone out to the Air Center for a dedication of what's going to be a placard out there that is dedicating a placard to those folks who lost their lives during the construction of the missile silos that were littered throughout the this part of the area as those first-generation intercontinental ballistic missiles. We were here in Roswell, for those that don't know, during the Cold War era, those first-generation those real dangerous ones before they got a little better with the science and got bigger, faster, better ones and all that. But those first generation ones were right here in Roswell, and during those construction of those silos and things, there were several folks that lost their lives in various accidents and things. And I'm guessing, and this is where I've kind of, through your research, you kind of turned up some things and found out some things and said, how come there's not a recognition of things? And now we're recognizing things here. So first off, Sue, good morning. Welcome to the show. But I'm kind of, so how did this all happen? What was it, just a interest in a book to write, or what was it that said, I want to do some research and digging on this stuff?
Well, I have to admit, I cannot remember when I first got interested in Cold War structures, but it had to have been prior to 2019 because my first book actually featured some of the Cold War structures, Atlas F sites that are around Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay.
And then when doing that research, I discovered that there are 12 of them around Roswell, New Mexico. And, of course, I'm from El Paso, Texas, and in Southwest desert terms, that's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Absolutely. We go to lunch. Like as a guy that was stationed at Alamogordo, we'd go to El Paso for lunch or go to Alamogordo or Las Cruces for lunch. And, 3 hours, no big deal.
Yeah. We're in that part of the country where you don't talk miles, you talk hours.
That's right.
So, and when I was doing the research on the ones in Roswell, because, of course, they're right in my backyard. So I looked at it and discovered about the February 16th accident.
Yes.
Which, incidentally, is why this is occurring on February 16th.
Hence the reason we're doing it on Sunday here.
Yeah,
yes.
We're doing it on Sunday. So I first found out about the accidents. Didn't have real good information about it, so started digging a little bit further. I had a little bit of assistance from somebody else in researching some of the accidents and managed to find all 8 who died among the 3 accidents. And, of course, the worst one was on February 16th. That's when 6 of the 8 died. There were 17 additional ones that were injured. Basically, a 60-ton crane went unmanned into the silo hole, 186-foot deep silo hole.
Wow.
So, and on the way down, it hit one man. Howard Frampton was hit by the crane.
Okay.
He was really the lucky one, is
what I say. He probably didn't even see it coming, I'm thinking.
No, they hollered down and let him know that the crane was on its way. But there were 5 more people down in the hole. Charlie Chambers was with the Army Corps of Engineers, and then 4 other men who were welding at the time. When the crane came down, it ruptured the fuel tank.
Caused an explosion.
Yes, and a fire.
Yeah.
So, it was really a horrendous accident. It was reported all the way across the country, from California to New York. It made the New York Times. So, really devastating accident.
Which it kind of surprises me a little bit, just because of the nature of the work in which they were doing. I didn't know how public that kind of thing was at that time period, or was that still kind of in a secret squirrel world a little bit?
Let me tell you how public it was. When the first missile arrived here in Roswell, they paraded it down Main Street.
So the Very would be the...
But you have to understand the times.
Sure.
We were in the middle of the Cold War.
Sure.
We were facing the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it was known prior to it actually coming out into the media that the Russians were putting missiles in Cuba. So there was a lot of pressure to get this complex done. Not just this one. There actually were 72 Atlas F silos around the country.
Most Americans were pro for this stuff just because of the nature of the world at the time. And so to see things like that was more patriotic, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Well, I think also that our government wanted to show that
and the Cold War
to the Soviet Union to say, don't think about doing a nuclear strike on us because we can strike. And this was the game changer, because we can strike back to your country from here.
Yeah, and that was kind of, at least from my perspective, in the towards the. Yeah, that's how the Cold War was, that dog and pony show. We got 70,000. We can blow up the world 12 times over. We can blow up the world 15 times over. And that was kind of that game we were playing. And then the funny part is once the Iron Curtain fell, we realized that we broke them financially, and that was kind of how we won the Cold War, is we outspend them. And then you go and look, and you go down the Iron Curtain, and next thing you know, all those airplanes they claimed they had, they were barely maintained. They were, sitting in mothballs, half of them. They got a space shuttle. It never saw the light of day because they couldn't afford to keep. It's, you know what I mean? That was, when you look at the history of that stuff, that's kind of what the Cold War led to. So like what you're talking about makes sense. That we're parading the missiles down the street, because in essence we're waving our big sword saying, hey, we're you know what I mean? That makes sense to me.
In a way, we're almost literally still parading the missiles down the street. And I say that because I saw a recent thing on Instagram where they had renovated an Atlas V missile, and they were taking it down an interstate, required 2 lanes for the truck, a heavy lift truck, to take it. And they were taking it to a museum, an Air Force museum somewhere. But somebody took a picture of it and put it on Instagram with the caption, "You don't see this every day." And then I've been to the SAC Museum, which is in Nebraska.
Okay.
And what greets you as you walk into the SAC Museum is an Atlas F missile.
Nice. Now, I've never seen Atlas, but I have had a chance to tour a Titan missile site in Tucson.
Did you turn the key?
No, I didn't get to turn. I got to see all the key. And all
turned the key.
But it was fascinating. And, And if you ever get a chance to tour one of those, do it. The one in Tucson's very interesting. Matter of fact, they have one of those inert missiles inside that silo as well. And if you go to the site, it's kind of half open. And so they literally had to tell the Russians they were doing all this. So when their spy satellites go over, we're not trying to plan a war. But years ago, they said, no, that's a museum. It's everything else. Yeah, the guy, the docent was telling us all about that.
And there's even a window cut in the nose cone so that they can look in and see that there's no warhead.
There's no glowy stuff in there.
But what was interesting for me in going to the Titan Museum, I actually talked about the Roswell sites. I was talking with a guy about the Roswell sites prior to going on the tour, and the docent overheard it. So when we got down into the launch control center, he said, "Who wants to be a missile commander?" And this gal raised her hand, so we put her in the commander's chair. And then he turned and he pointed at me and he said, "You look like a lieutenant commander. You sit over here." So you actually got to play the part of a launch crew
and see how they do it.
Turn the key.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have the little card that says I turned the key. Well, after that, I got to thinking, would I really have turned the key? And my first impression was, yeah, because I don't know if we have incoming. I don't know if there are places around the country that are smoking holes already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if all my friends are dead. I don't know if Tucson is gone. Back at you.
Yeah.
But then after thinking about it further, I thought, if you don't have a deterrent that you are willing to use and that you can demonstrate that you're willing to use, somebody who has the equivalent type of armament can say, well, I can strike and they won't strike back, and then that's how we take over the world.
Yeah.
That's mutually assured destruction. And yes, MAD is very appropriate as an acronym for that.
Yeah, it is fascinating. I definitely was an eye-opener when I got to tour it and see that life and see the authentic. Like, that was kind of neat for me to just see how the process for authentication and all that, and how they're talking about, like, when they go to launch a missile and how they get the orders to do it, and then the authentication and how they do it with the cards and making sure they match and all that kind of thing. I found all that stuff fascinating. But you're right. Putting myself in that situation, you're like, I do this, and you know what? Young and 18 and 20, which what these kids were that were down in these. That's you're built different and think different in that time. And but could I do it in my 50-year-old brain? I don't know.
Well,
interesting question.
Let's let you know what it was like for the Atlas Fs that were around here.
Yeah, I imagine those are.
It was one person
who
launched, and he had the only weapon in the Launch Control Center.
Wow, that seems
And
not
the reason
smart.
he had that weapon was so if anybody tried to stop the launch, he would shoot them.
Gotcha.
So it's a whole different event than two people having to turn two keys simultaneously. Sure. And of course, what probably a lot of people don't realize is no one person could reach those two keys.
Right. They got them far enough apart where not even the tallest person in the world with the wingspan of an eagle could do it.
But then one of the things I asked the docent was, had they ever had anybody not turn the key? And he said, no, never. No member of the launch crew ever refused to turn the key. Well, and they never knew. They never knew if it was an exercise or if it was the real deal.
The real deal. Yeah, and that's probably part of the deal. But knowing how the military trains for their jobs, regardless of what the job is, it's part of the training, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Those folks that are down the silos, and because the training for them is probably all mental. Because, at the end of the day, it's not that hard to probably teach the process on how to do it. They can probably knock that out in a 10-minute seminar.
Yeah, and they have a checklist as well.
Exactly.
So that they follow
Everything's
their
checklist in the military, but I think the training for that job is really how to navigate life in the silo and how to follow orders unquestioningly, and they probably play a lot of mind games with them to try to get them to think in a certain way. That's part of the training. But anyway, we want to invite folks to come out for the dedication of the placard. The 8 names here, Robert and I were talking earlier this month about this event, and as far as the family history of these folks, did a lot of them still have family in this area still, or I think some of them were like your transient workers just working where the paychecks were and kind of moved from town to town, but most of these folks had family in this area, right?
Well, Jacinto Flores, who was the first one to die, I understand still has a sister surviving him.
Okay.
And he is buried here in the cemetery on 19th Street.
Oh, okay.
So is Charlie Chambers.
Okay.
Charlie Chambers was with the Corps of Engineers.
They're out of memory long.
He was the youngest person who died. And he was in the hole. He was down in the hole at the time. He is also buried up on 19th Street. And I understand that somebody is decorating his grave.
Oh, good.
So...
Yeah, that's a memory lawn cemetery. That's we have American Legion Post that kind of took it over. It kind of fell in disrepair and it's kind of coming back cleaning up and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot. You know what? That just so jives because there's so much history out there that it's like, of course, some of those folks are.
And then G.W. McDonough, I've actually met his oldest boy, Jimmy.
Okay.
He was from El Paso and would commute back and forth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's buried in Santa Teresa, New Mexico.
Okay.
I actually hunted up his grave, and at first I thought, well, how many G.W. McDonoughs can there be?
Yeah.
But I had only found one indication that he was even from El Paso, and I looked at dozens of newspaper reports. They all said he was from Fort Worth.
Okay.
And I couldn't find him. And then finally I see this one paper that said, no, he's from El Paso, and then everything clicked into place. I managed to locate his oldest boy. Jimmy told me that not only did he work on the silos here, he worked on the Asarco smokestack in El Paso.
Oh, wow.
Which was just a huge copper smelter. And what Jimmy told me was that when they were building it, they added 6 feet more to the smokestack so that it would be the tallest smokestack in the country at the time. So they didn't need 6 more feet except to brag.
Just to say they could.
So, it kind of chilled me, though, to learn that he was a welder because I knew how they had died. So, that was a difficult thing when you look at somebody who is from your own community and has surviving family members there.
Well, I guess the blessing there is where his proximity was. He probably didn't suffer much. He went quick, I'm thinking, but maybe not. I don't know. If he's close to the explosion, I can't imagine that I'm thinking that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
But, you don't want to think about these things that way, but it's sometimes these end slow and you're just, anyway, just when I would just think like nightmare ways to go.
Well, one of the things that we need to remember also is that we're talking about 1960, 1961. The silos were completed and turned over in 1962. In 1960 and 1961, there was no OSHA.
Well, right, yeah. Safety was sketch at best.
These guys, a lot of times, were climbing up and down the rebar that they were putting in through a 186-foot deep hole. If they had a platform to stand on, a lot of times it was not secured. There were not guardrails. They didn't have safety lines. They had a helmet, but somebody drops a heavy wrench from the top of the hole and it goes down to the bottom of the hole. That helmet's not going to help.
Yeah, that's going to split that thing right in half. Yeah.
But these guys knew this was dangerous work, and they came to do it anyway. And they had wives, they had families. GW had a wife and 2 sons and a daughter.
I imagine pay was pretty decent for this kind of work, but I don't know. I would imagine. But
well, there were labor strikes.
Yeah.
So, there was not without controversy, let's put it this way, that the workers felt that. And some of the conditions were really bad.
Oh, I would imagine that, conditions.
When you talk about a 186-foot deep hole, you're talking about the potential for groundwater to come in. And in some of the holes, it did come in, and it was just draining down on top of the workers. And down in the bottom of these holes, it can be no more than 65 degrees, typically 55, 65 degrees. If you've ever, of course, in Roswell, what's right south of here, Carlsbad Caverns, and you know how it is down in the caverns?
Yeah, perpetually 50 or whatever it is down there.
That's what it would be in the bottom of the holes. And then they'd come up, and on a day like today, it's 30 degrees, and on a day in the middle of the summer, it's 104. So you had that sort of situation as well, where it was very trying and
summertime,
difficult
let's
for
get
them.
down the hole. I can't wait till 50s.
So,
but it's harsh life.
It was very difficult work. It's difficult work to this day, but you have more worker protections in this day and age than they had then. So they really, I suspect, knew they were really taking their lives in their hands and that they would have the potential for an accident. But like any soldier who goes to war, I'm sure they also believed that they would come back to their family. And of course, these 8 did not.
Do you know if were the folks that worked on the silos and things, did they work for a private company that was contracted by the government, or were they direct government employees doing this stuff?
Well, of course, Corps of Engineer guys were.
Yeah, those guys obviously were, but some of the other workers.
The other workers, at least here, they had a consortium of 4 different companies. And the only one I can remember right off of my head is the Patuxent Shipyard, which was in Washington.
Yeah, I know the Patuxent. Oh, okay. I was thinking Patuxent River in D.C. area, but anyway.
No. We're talking Washington State.
Gotcha, okay.
They had a shipyard there. And actually, G.W. worked at the shipyard, and I believe I know he was a service member in World War II, and I believe he was in the Navy, which sort of makes me smile a little bit because I have a brother who was a boat. They call the chief bosun's mate, who is the head enlisted guy on the ship, is the boat.
Yeah.
So he was a boat, and he got out of the Navy after 20 years of service, and now he's helping build ships for the Navy as well.
That's cool.
So there's some parallels between my family and GW's. So, but yeah, these guys came from all over the place, and just hundreds of workers per silo, and there are 12 of them. And 2 Nike sites as well, which the Nike batteries were there to basically protect the airbase because it was a strategic air command airbase.
Yeah.
So they had bombers there that could carry nuclear weapons. And so if a bomber managed to come in, because like I said before, the Atlas F was the game changer. We don't have to take a bomber over to you. So, but we wanted to have that defense in case a bomber managed to make its way all the way here. So the Nikes were actually designed to shoot a bomber out of the air.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, even in today's world, I can tell you for a fact that not all of our nukes are in ICBM form.
Oh, yeah.
We have our tactical nukes and ones that you put on an airplane and fly to need someplace. It's kind of funny. Not relevant to this story, but sort of is. When I was in the Air Force, and like Robert was telling you, I was stationed at Holloman and was a bomb loader in the 8th, in the stealth fighters. And in '99, when we were bombing Kosovo and Milosevic, and I don't know if you remember that, Yugoslavia and all that, I was over in Italy at Aviano Air Base when we were doing the bombing missions out of there. And Aviano Air Base is an Italian air base in northern Italy. Americans have a large contingent there during the normal peacetime, but that was kind of a rally cry for pretty much all the Allied aircraft and things there at Aviano. Well, stealth fighters, they're like they're kind of like the drama queen that shows up at the party when they roll in at a base. We're kind of needy. We have special needs and got to get special treatment and things like that because the nature of the aircraft. And so they can't just park it out on the flight line and call it good, like an F-16 or whatever. They got to put it in a hardened shelter and all this. We got a lot of needs. But anyway, they put us out in the hardened tab shelters out there in Italy that they had on the flight line. And normally when a stealth fighter leaves its home station in Holloman Air Force Base, the United States military consider it a Priority A asset, which means it's a top asset. It gets the highest treatment of security, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, when they parked us in those tabs, they said, your jets are right here. By the way, see those lines on the floor? Don't go anywhere near them. Don't park anything on them. And by the way, your aircraft is not the Priority A asset in this building. And we're like, okay. And there's only one thing that trumps us, and it's the nukes.
A special. Yes. For those who don't know, in the military, they refer to those as specials.
Yes. And so basically, they were storing those tactical nukes, those ones that can pop on aircrafts, underneath each one of those hangars in these special storage. Matter of fact, they had some kind of, I'm going to guess it's some kind of environment control thing. So, because every couple hours, police, the SPs would go in there, look at those things, and then walk away. So I think they had to check something every couple hours about, I don't know. I'm going to guess some kind of environment status down there, humidity or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, of course, when the Atlas Fs went in, this was the age of duck and cover.
Yes.
And a lot of people, you say
Kids
duck and
doing the drills.
You say duck and cover now. If you weren't alive during that period of time, you don't know what that was about.
No, you don't
We
understand
were
it.
so tense at that period of time that we might be hit by a nuclear weapon. That there were regular exercises in the schools and everything. I remember having to get down under my desk, put your hands over your head and duck and cover. And my father talking about how we could turn our basement into a fallout shelter. And actually, I understand when it was announced that we were going to get the silos here, that one of the first things that happened was that 6 building permits for bomb shelters were issued.
I'm pretty sure, didn't you tell us, Robert, you guys had a bomb shelter when you were a kid here in town? Did you tell me that on the radio?
Yeah, my dad.
I thought he did.
When he sold the house, and he said, by the way, on the left-hand side of the double garage, those big sheets of plywood, when you pull those out, there was a stairs going down that he had built underneath his house.
Nice.
And there were shelters under the schools.
Sure.
They put shelters under the schools.
I'm going to take a stab that was kind of like in today's real estate market, you're like, yeah, you got to have this. Like, I feel like that was a selling point. Like, if you're trying to buy or sell homes, like, hey, this one's got a fallout shelter.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, what a great feature to have, So,
but it was just the tension of the time.
Oh, yeah. I just missed that. Like, I kind of 70s, 80s, where I didn't have the duck and cover drills, but my parents did. So I see and know I was at the end of the Cold War when that's kind of where I grew up with Reagan and tear down the wall. And so I caught the end of it. So my parents did all the duck and cover, and I kind of saw the end result. I was going to high school in a school like Goddard High that's a fallout shelter just because of all this. But there was always rumors of Nike sites that were right near in our neighborhoods and things like that as kids growing up, we always talk, there's the Nike site out there and all that. And I think it was years ago, but
they're still there.
Yeah. But I think
they're
some
not
of those,
functional, but they're still there.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that the county sheriff uses one as a firing range. And I know that because I've been to there's 10 that is out to the east, out to the northeast, and then the other one is down to the south is 50.
Okay.
What they call L50 and then L10. L10 is a popular place where people go shoot stuff up as well, but it's not officially a firing range.
I would love, that would be a thing I wish someday, if someone had the money and wherewithal, was maybe take one of these silos out there and maybe kind of do what they did out in Tucson, recreate it and make it a museum or some place where people could go and visit and see what life was like for these folks in these silos and what that was all about.
Well, my dream, and of course I have to win the lottery because these are very valuable properties. Right
Yeah,
now.
about to say, they're not. You can't just
you can't just walk in there
scoop
and
one up
say,
on Zillow real quick. Yeah.
So, although occasionally you'll see one come up for sale, but you're talking about generally $300,000 to $500,000.
Sure.
And I know there's one locally where a guy wants $2 million.
And that's just as is. And depending on what you're going to do with it, you're going to have to shell out equally probably the same amount of money just to get it to do what you're wanting to do.
He's done some renovation.
Gotcha.
He's the launch control center has actually been turned into a couple of apartments.
Okay, so he's living in it and turned into it. See, that would be an interesting concept too. I think I'd like to try that. I don't know if I'd want to live my whole life that way, but that'd be kind of neat for a minute.
Well, in my case, because my very covert federal law enforcement team, who are officially dead because their deaths have been faked, actually live in these underground structures.
Wow.
And they have remote bases, and one of them is here in Roswell.
Interesting.
So one of my books actually shows a picture of one of them it's been photoshopped, but my main character is a female sniper, and she's standing on the lid of one of the silos.
Okay. And
I took the pictures for everything there except for what looks like a comet, and I took the picture of her as well. She's actually dressed in a bunch of my gear. Were put together by my cover artist.
Okay. So for folks here, we got to talking all about Sunday and everything, and we really didn't get to mention that you've got 25 books you've written, and is all your books fiction, or do they get into the nonfiction world too?
They are all fiction. One of them is a standalone, so it has a completely different theme to it.
Okay.
And the others are all based on this. It's just called The Unit. The series is called The Unit. And I'm in the process. There's one book out for Gen 2, which is actually 30 years into the future.
Okay.
So I'm reading things from 30 years ago to try to figure out what's going to go on in 30 years in the future. But I did a lot of research on these books to the extent that I would get people who read them who would contact me and say, "Is this real?" And of course, you don't want to say, "Nah, it's completely fake." But it isn't completely fake.
Sure.
But what I would always tell people is, it's nothing I can tell you about.
Yeah. It's fiction based off fact.
It is fiction based on fact.
Yeah.
And so, when I did my research, for instance, one of the things you'll find online is a diagram that shows how these Atlas F silos were put together. And you can find a diagram on how the Titans were put together. I haven't seen much on the Minutemen. I think we still have some installations that are active.
I was going to say,
although
they may not want that to get that out yet. But.
Well, if you want to see, and this is on my bucket list, obviously, there is a site called Mimi.
Okay.
Mimi is in North Dakota. It's short for Mino Minuteman.
Okay.
And it's run by the U.S. Park Service.
Oh, okay.
And you can go do the same thing that you did at the Titan II. You can go to their launch control center. Of course, the Titan II, the launch control center, was right there next to the silo.
Sure, yeah.
So the guys would have known if it was real.
Yeah.
Because they would have felt it.
They might have felt that one a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because that one launched from the tube. Also, it wasn't taken up on an elevator the way the F was.
The static shot, it looks more off to the side. And now, is this an Atlas site that's on this picture?
Yes, that is an Atlas site.
Yeah, see, because it looks off to the side there.
The little round thing off to the side, that is actually the launch control center.
Yeah.
And it is 40 feet underground.
And see, the Titan site didn't look like that. It was like right adjacent to it, if I remember right. Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't, yeah.
Well, you don't go very far from the LCC into the silo. When you arrive in the silo, you're actually on level 4.
Gotcha.
You look up to where the silo doors were.
Okay.
So, and it's just a short walk. I've actually stayed, and there's one here where you can stay in it. This one that I told you about that he has the 2 apartments. He has an Airbnb there.
Okay.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
No, it's not cheap.
But it's worth.
But you can walk. You can walk through into the silo and get a look at it. Of course, it's not intact the way the Titan II is. It's not intact.
It doesn't look like a missile silo.
Yeah,
it's more...
with the Titans. when they decommissioned them, that really is the only remaining site where you can actually see what the silo looked like because they were imploded. They blew them up.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
like,
they-
yeah, we can't put a missile back in there.
Right.
Well, the Fs were actually sold off as surplus property before that came into the treaty.
Gotcha.
So the ones that are here are actually pretty much intact, except for the fact that anything that was salvageable was taken out.
Gotcha.
So, they had salvage crews would go in and remove all the equipment, remove what they called the crib steel, which was actually the support for this huge elevator that brought that missile to the surface so it could
Okay.
be launched. So, and it's interesting why they call it the crib, by the way. I always thought it was called the crib because that's where you put the baby.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, it turns out that that's not why it was called the crib. The crib steel was actually suspended on humongous shock absorbers
Okay.
so that if there was a nearby nuclear strike, it wouldn't shake the missile
Gotcha.
apart. They could then launch it. And what the workers noticed as they were working on the crib was that it would sway back and forth subtly just from the motion of the earth.
Okay.
And so
it's kind of like a rockabye baby.
Yeah. so they called it the crib.
That makes sense. That's really cool.
So just a huge amount of history, and it is fascinating history, which is why when I went to the Titan site afterwards, after I got pointed at and said, "You sit in this chair," the docent came up to me and said, "I heard you talking about the sites around Roswell."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "That's why I chose you to turn the key."
Nice.
Because that was when I summed things up with this fellow I was talking with. I told him it's a fascinating history, and we're losing it. We're forgetting it. And so that was one of the things that I felt was important on putting up this monument. It's not a placard, by the way. It's a 5.5 foot tall monument.
We use the term placard, but that is a misnomer here.
Yeah. So, and then for me, when I researched these accidents, I looked at it and I said, these guys really literally gave their lives to produce what was probably one of the most horrific weapon systems ever in this country. And they did it knowing it was dangerous. And they did it, I'm sure, believing that they would go home to their wives and their children. And these 8 did not. And, there was a lot of mention in accident reports of how much money was involved in that. What did the big accident, what did the crane cost? What did the steel cost? What did the rebar and the concrete that was damaged cost? And I looked at it and I said, what about the 6 guys?
Yeah, what about the lives?
And the 17 injuries.
Yeah.
What about the lives? That was a cost you can't put a number on. And the more I thought about that, the more I said, those guys need to be recognized. They need to be recognized for the fact that they gave their lives to produce a deterrent that has kept the peace for 65 years.
It's long overdue.
By the
And
way,
so-
we need to mention where the ceremony is going to be. It's going to be in front of the flagpole at the air terminal.
We're about out of time here, and so we kind of want to wrap up and kind of get the soup to nuts of the event here. It will be this Sunday, 1:30 p.m., and it's going to be right as you kind of come right up on the airport there at the main entryway there at the flagpole there. That's where the monument dedication ceremony, and of course the home of the monument is going to be there. About 1:30, I'm hoping there's some maybe descendants of some of these folks that may be living in the area that come up on Sunday and come in for a visit and maybe, if willing, sharing some of their stories with us.
Well, I understand there's a guy who lives very near the airport who worked on the silos, and I'm hoping that he will be there too.
Yeah. But bring your kids, bring your family, come out and share a little history here. And
there's more history than just that monument people need to recognize as well. The flagpole there is dedicated to the people who served when that was the Roswell Army Airfield. And then, of course, in 1947, it became Walker Air Force Base, and there's a monument there that commemorates the people in the units that served at Walker. So, you know, there's a lot of history in that. And, of course, we have the Walker Aviation Museum there, which I understand you can't just visit once because they have more stuff than they can show at one time. So they occasionally change the
Well, it's
displays.
That museum, and we got to go, but that museum is as much a homage to the people of Roswell as it is the actual buildings and base and airplanes that called that place home at one time. That's what I love about that museum is, yeah, you can learn the history, but a lot of times you get family coming through and it's like, yeah, my dad was stationed here or my mom worked here and they were on the baseball team and this is his coach or that's the kind of stuff that museum's about too, and I love that. It's as much as a connection of people as it is, the history and the dates and the important work that went on there during that time. So, good deal. Sue, I'm so appreciative that you were able to come and share some of the stories and some of the history with us here. I would love to, please, folks, if you got a chance on football's done, so you don't have that excuse. Ain't no Super Bowls or playoff football or nothing. So come on out. Church is over with at 1:30, so you can come on out and come out to the airport and come be a part of this important ceremony. Bring your kids, bring your grandkids. I think this is something that the young folks need to see. And then of course, hopefully, some folks that can have connections. We can share stories and talk, but come out. And then of course, unfortunately, the museum's not open yet because of all the flood work that's still going on there. I do want to invite people to visit the Walker Air Force Base Museum website, wafbmuseum.org. If you'd like to donate to help the museum, or if you want to serve in various ways on the board. Or
on the website, go to education and find all the multiple videos on various careers and stuff.
Yeah, if you want to, even though we can't go into the museum to do some of this stuff, you can definitely check it out. If you're interested in showing some of your younger folks some STEM-related career field stuff, wafbmuseum.org has got a wealth of resources there for that kind of stuff. So, Sue, if people want to check out some more of your books, what's the best way to start diving into your series of books?
Well, the best way is to go to my website. It is, of course, the https:// Ann Fox Writes. That's all together.
Okay.
.com. And it's WRITES, Ann Fox Writes.
Okay.
.com.
Excellent. And find all the books there.
All the books are there, and there are links to where you can purchase the books on Amazon.
Yeah.
They're available in ebook and print.
Okay. And if you're already a fan of her work, come on out Sunday. Meet her. Meet the placard. Might even sign a book.
If they're a fan, they may know about a little contest that I've been running.
Ah, very good. Well, we'll see. But good deal. Did we get it all? As for now?
Except for me saying thank you very much for having me.
Anytime.
I tell people all the time I live in El Paso. That's where my home is, but a good portion of my heart is here in Roswell. I visit quite often. And maybe one day, if I'm lucky and win the lottery, I'll have one of the silos, build it into a remote base, and live out here.
Well, if you hit that lottery, let me know, because I'll be your first visitor. Thank you very much, both of you. Appreciate it, and we'll see you on Sunday. Oh, man, it's after 8. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico, news in progress.
Reciprocal tariffs on America's trading partners. Mr. Trump says the U.S. will match the import duties that other nations charge us. Retail sales tumbled last month, plunging 0.9% in January from December. Southern California facing the ongoing risk of rock and mudslides in areas where earlier wildfires left the hillsides barren. Heavy debris has clogged roads, including the Pacific Coast Highway.
Anytime there's rain like this, you just want to be careful. Driving around, take it slow. Visibility is going to be bad. There could be water ponding on the roads, the rocks, the mud on the canyon roads. So just, take it easy on the road.
Carol Smith at the National Weather Service. On Wall Street this hour, the Dow is 9 points higher, the Nasdaq up 22, the S&P better by 5 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Following an absence of several weeks, Apple and Google are once again offering the popular video sharing app TikTok.
U.S. lawmakers were concerned TikTok could be used by the Chinese government as a tool for spying and political manipulation. The accusations Beijing and TikTok repeatedly denied. Congress passed a law to have it banned unless its U.S. assets were sold, but President Trump signed an executive order to grant a 75-day extension to comply. According to Bloomberg News, the decision to resume its availability came after Apple and Google received assurances from the Trump administration that they would not be held liable and the ban wouldn't be enforced yet.
That's BBC's Marika Oy. Fire at a resort construction site in the South Korean city of Busan has killed at least 6 people. About 100 workers managed to evacuate the site. Another 14 had to be rescued by helicopter from the top of a burning structure. News and analysis at townhall.com. It is the end of an era in pro football.
The New York Jets announced they told Aaron Rodgers they are moving on without him next season. In a statement issued by the team, the Jets said they met with the 41-year-old quarterback last week and informed him of their plans. Rodgers hasn't said whether he intends to continue playing for a 21st NFL season. The 4-time MVP is the 5th player in NFL history to throw 500 touchdown passes in the regular season. He has 1 year of non-guaranteed money left on his contract. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Philadelphia Eagles fans will bask in the thrill of victory today as the city hosts a Super Bowl parade. The underdog Eagles possess the Lombardi Trophy after an easy 40-22 win over the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. The parade starts late morning in South Philadelphia, and the team ceremony will kick off at 2 p.m. on the Art Museum's iconic Rocky Steps. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. I should say it. I didn't last hour. Happy Valentine's Day.
I was going to say,
I got so worked up into everything else, and I forgot to mention that today is the...
And that was the 1 hour that your wife was able to listen before she had to go in, so...
Well, we're gonna go do our thing tomorrow.
Yeah. It's always good when Valentine's Day falls on a Friday because you get the whole weekend.
Well, yeah, that and I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Many moons ago. I do not go out to eat on Valentine's Day.
Oh, God, no.
That Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, 2 days I avoid restaurants like the plague.
It's funny how you ever heard people say nobody drives in New York because of all the traffic.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with nobody goes out on Valentine's Day because everybody's out.
I wonder at some point if nobody's actually out because everyone's staying out.
Right, we're all avoiding the inevitable crowd that doesn't show up.
Steakhouse just be like, wow, there's crickets around here.
Yeah.
But,
more prepared people than myself and I'm guessing the host of this show actually make reservations to places like those, and they're the ones that go out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, me. And people are going to turn this into, I love my wife. We do things all the time.
Sure.
I don't need society to make a day.
Exactly.
To go, to give you an excuse to go buy flowers and candy
right.
for my wife.
And that is, what I've always stood by with when I was, in a happy marriage.
Yeah.
It's do things that are nice for your partner every day. Take some time. If they had a hard day, talk to them, give them a back rub, maybe, make them a nice meal. These are the things that make a relationship.
Valentine's Day are for people in young relationships where you got to remind them to work on things and do things. Old relationships already know these things.
It is. I mean, it's just messed up that society puts this level of guilt on boyfriends and husbands.
Yeah.
Women, there's never been that pressure. I mean, you ask any guy in a relationship, what do you want for Valentine's Day? They're going to say one of two things, and one of those I can't really say on the radio.
Yeah. It's usually nothing.
Yeah, nothing, or I'm just saying that's all we ask from you is a gesture.
Mother's
high
Day.
Five.
Mother's Day is a way bigger holiday than Father's Day.
Tell me about it.
This is just facts.
Oh. Let's do all the things that you want to do. Here, Dad, here's a card.
Did you at least get the big piece of chicken?
I hadn't thought about it, but actually, no, I got one of the two bigger pieces because in those situations, I was in the house with another father, her father living in the communal situation.
Oh, yeah, you weren't even top tier
so
dad.
I didn't even get to share. I had to share my dad.
You were sick of banana dad.
That's right.
So
no,
you got the thigh.
I'm not bitter about it. Honestly, it should be that way because moms do so much. Dads, we show up. Right. I mean, when we show up, but moms, we couldn't do it without you.
Sure.
So,
but there are some dads out there that are
absolutely
they're doing it all. They deserve the big piece of chicken.
Sure. In my house, I get the big piece of chicken mostly because my kids darn big on eating chicken. At least not chicken that's not highly processed and extruded into shapes.
That's right. Oh, man. Let me give you the rundown for this hour.
Yeah, you got a long one.
What's that?
That interview's a long one.
Oh, which one?
The Keon.
Oh, yeah.
It's about 30,
32. It's not my longest.
Okay,
I've had longer.
Fine marathon, man. We get it.
It's average in my length of,
Okay, size queen.
Well, everybody keeps talking about the size of my interviews. So
I do got to say,
I have to address it.
I do got to say something. I did take an opportunity yesterday to. So tomorrow they're doing a from noon to I believe 4 in the Bound Around room at the library.
Yeah,
they're doing a dedication to, or it's a celebration of Blackdom.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's they're gonna have all kinds of old court records, old property deeds, and things like that. But one of the things they're going to be showing, and I believe it's 2 showings, is a PBS documentary.
It's going to be at 1:30 and 3:30, if I remember in our interview when I was talking.
And I got to tell you, I had a chance to watch that documentary yesterday. It's actually,
did you check it out?
It's up on YouTube.
I know it's pretty easy to find.
It's from the Colores series that KNME, which is the Albuquerque PBS affiliate, they did a series on New Mexico history.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about 30 minutes. It's real easily digestible. It's fascinating.
And it's about the Blackdom
It's all about the creation of Blackdom. It's about the Bowyer family, and it talks about kind of how Blackdom came to be and the creation of a township in general.
And I believe when we were talking with Ms. McGinn there in the interview that family still owns that property.
They do own the property, but it's sort of like there's not much they can do with it. They get into it in the documentary, but essentially by the time that they were declared like a township, everything had already sort of, what they say in the end is no human error caused Blackdom to no longer be. It was the dry up of the artesian water, the artesian river. There was the soil because of different things that with the wind and whatnot. It was too acrid and you couldn't grow out there. And so the farmers that were there just ended up going to different places, working for white, farmer owners.
Oh, okay.
And so that led to the dissolution of Blackdom. But yeah, the Bowyer family still, I believe, owns the property out there. And
is there anything other than a placard remark, or is there some actual?
Well, there's remains essentially. It's like foundations for some of the buildings, and you see kind of. They go back to the site. And the documentary, I think, was made in the late 90s, like 97, 98.
Interesting.
But yeah, the family still lives locally, and they still get together. Some of them still live locally, and they get together every year for like a big family reunion, it ties into Blackdom because every year they would invite all of the white farm owners from around the area to come to Blackdom to have a big meal and play a baseball game. That was a tradition they had every year.
Oh, cool!
And it was a huge
the neighbors
festival.
come together for the town picnic kind of thing. That's cool.
Kind of a cool thing. So they still do that with family reunion every year.
Oh, nice. So definitely check that out. Again, it's going to be at the Bondart Room at the Roswell Public Library, 1 to 4 this Saturday, tomorrow. It is a come and go event, but if you want to see that documentary, at the library, they're going to be doing showings at 1:30 and then 3:30 before.
And that's a good opportunity because it'll give you a chance to ask questions. Because, like I said, the documentary is over 20 years old.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. I didn't get. I meant to, and life's happened in the last couple of days. I haven't got.
Have you ever been out there to the site?
No, I have not.
I've
passed the sign a bunch of times.
I drove by there once, and I saw the placard, and I stopped, and we've said the word placard a lot this morning.
Yeah.
And I stopped to read it and kind of check out the site, and I just kind of like, that's neat, and moved on.
Yeah.
But I never really dove into the history of it until yesterday.
I need to because I love that kind of
stuff. It's right up your alley.
I love digging into that type of stuff. So, but anyway, come out tomorrow to the library for that one, and then Sunday out to the Air Center for the dedication of the monument for the missile silo. So, this hour, like I said, Keon Agar joined us. Dr. Keon joined us from Carabelli Dental earlier this week. Talk a little bit about some, how New Mexico works with it, and from a dentist and businesses and what they're doing to the healthcare and some of the hurdles that him as a business owner and healthcare professional are dealing with right now. So some good stuff to put on your radar.
Absolutely.
We're going to play that interview here in just a few short minutes. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. It's going to be 70 today, so they say.
Promise.
Yeah.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty warm today, but we will be cooling off a little bit with a cold front set to drop through. Windy today, a few gusts around 30 miles an hour, sunny, and we'll top out in the low 70s. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s to low 40s, cooler and gusty on Saturday. It will be sunny, though, afternoon highs in the low 60s. Clear on Saturday night, and then even cooler on Sunday, upper 50s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 33 degrees. We got warmer by 1 degree the last hour here in Roswell. Humidity's at 64%. Winds currently out of the south at 5 miles per hour. We're going to hit 71, so they tell us, under partly cloudy skies with south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour this morning. But the winds will be picking up out of the southwest, 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour by later this afternoon. Mostly clear tonight. Overnight low of 40 expected. Southwest winds at around 15 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny, 62 for a high, and a breezy. Winds will be out of the northwest, 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, mostly clear. Overnight low of 29 degrees. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny and 56 for your Sunday. And winds will be out of the north 5 to 15 miles per hour. For President's Day Monday, partly cloudy, 71 once again for a high. But then we drop into the 50s, mid-50s on Tuesday, upper 40s on Wednesday, and then back into the mid-50s by Thursday next week. So atypical New Mexico roller coaster type weather for next week, too. All right, 8:16, we're going to take a 3.5-minute break, and we're going to play our interview we had with Dr. Keon from Carabelli Dental. Don't go away.
Take your career to the next level. If you have mechanical aptitude, the Crumlin Auto Group wants to talk to you. Make real money without driving to the oil field. Certified master technicians can earn up to $70 an hour. Entry-level technicians start at $20 an hour with free training and tools. The Crumlin Auto Group offers competitive wages, health insurance, a 401k, housing assistance, and a sign-on bonus of up to $20,000. You could be making over $150,000 a year. Apply today at KAGNM.com. KAGNM.com.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Space, the final frontier.
Hi, Captain. You can choose your space at Main Trailer Sales.
Fascinating. Don't cling on to that old camper. The logical choice. New Durangos, Montanas, Cougars, and Passports from Main Trailer Sales. They allow space and comfort. Boldly explore like never before.
Beam on board to that perfect camper.
Don't go camping without us. Live long and explore.
Main Trailer Sales. Don't go camping without us.
After Solomon became king of Israel, God spoke to him in a dream and told him to ask for whatever he wanted. Solomon started by thanking and praising God. He was humble and admitted he didn't feel like he was up to the task of being king. Solomon then asked for a discerning heart to know right from wrong. God was pleased with his request and gave him what he asked for. Sounds like the young king already had some wisdom when he made his request of God. Jesus taught that everyone who hears his words and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, yet it did not fall because it had a foundation on a rock. But everyone who hears his words and doesn't put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the house fell with a great crash. So how do we gain wisdom? Well, looks like we put the words of the Lord into practice.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell. Are you ready to succeed? The health education programs at ENMU Roswell can set you up for success with a wide variety of courses such as emergency medical services, fire science, medical assisting, nursing, and respiratory therapy. ENMU Roswell can prepare you for a rewarding career in the healthcare industry. ENMUR stacks courses in order to get the student into a job as quickly as possible while creating a pathway for more advanced certifications, licenses, and degrees. Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Success starts here.
Double up days are back at Roswell Honda, and that means double your down payment. $500 becomes $1,000. $1,000 becomes $2,000. Up to $2,000 means $4,000 towards your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Get 2.9% APR for 36 months on all new Ridgeline and Pilot, and 2.49% for 36 months on all new CR-V hybrids. Now's the time to make your dollars go even further. Double up and save during double up days on now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The U.S. Treasury once considered producing donut-shaped coins. They instead decided to go with coin-shaped donuts. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Carabelli Dental, although wearing a bigger hat this morning.
Different hat.
Than his dentist hat today. But Dr. Keon Agar back with us.
Yeah. A dentist hat. I have. I actually don't own a dentist hat, but I should. I imagine it's just a giant tooth. Like I imagine like a sombrero or a cowboy hat, but it's like the middle is just a tooth.
Yeah,
like a molar or something.
Yeah, either that or maybe I don't know. Study Sweeney Todd. Maybe there's maybe there's some accoutrement you could do with that.
No, I need to work on my dentist hat. I need to, just so I know, like, when I talk to people, that I know what I'm doing.
Like I feel like your dentist hat should be like an Inspector Gadget hat, where maybe
just
it's
lots
like a
of different
toothbrush that comes down.
Ideally, one day I'd like it to be have at least like the Homer Simpson hat with the beer cans.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That would be the end goal is to have that. But yeah.
And maybe we do that. One's got fluoride.
A little toothpaste, a little beer. It's all about life's about balance.
It's like
life's all about balance.
Well, that's your work hat. Then you have your home hat.
Yeah.
Filled with different things.
No, it's the same thing. The work hat, the home hat's the same thing. You should.
But anyway, we'll do this all day if I don't.
This will be a 6-hour show of Mike talking about hats.
But we really do want to, kind of put something on the radar of folks here, and this is, we as consumers, we always think, we want this, and you want the best doctors, you want the best, and everything in the world has a cycle. Everything's, there's perspectives on everything. Yes, we want the best doctors and things. Doctors are saying, I want to live in places that are really great and nice, but also want to feel safe to practice and be able to do.
Right.
And so when someone who spends a lot of money and time and effort to get their profession, their certifications and their training to be a professional, and they choose to practice these skills, they're going to want to do it in a place that's advantageous to them.
Right.
And from as one of these people in the state of New Mexico, you're dealing with some stuff and want to raise the red flag on. Really, I think some of the things we're talking about here are part of the reason why we are lacking healthcare professionals here, and lacking an ability to bring new healthcare professionals.
When I reach out to you to talk about coming on the show, I have to be honest, it's 100% selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The selfishness of me being here to talk about the healthcare crisis, which that's what it is in New Mexico, is selfish. It's selfish because I'm a father, I am a son, and I'm a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And it's selfish because I want to live here and not die here. I want my parents to be able to live here and get good health care. And I want my patients to get good health care. That's to me, it's like, so,
with
and
the
so
exception
what
of the patients thing, you're wanting the exact same thing every other person that lives
absolutely.
there
Yeah.
wants,
So I look around and it's like, and I think a lot, I look around. So we have this huge healthcare crisis, and people don't realize that, New Mexico is, I'm born and raised here. Okay. I grew up here. I went to public school. I went to UNM. I came back and did my residency at UNM Hospital. I am like,
this is your home.
Born and bred. This is my home. My family is here. All my roots are here. And I look around and I'm like, I have been watching us go off this healthcare cliff for years. Colleagues of mine have been talking about it. Everybody I know has been talking about it on the medical side. Mm-hmm. And we've gone off the cliff. I mean, just to be honest, like, and it's the red flag I'd like to call out is that, I'm watching all these things happen, and they are 100%, in my opinion, related to, they stem from our legislator. Okay, what's going on in Santa Fe, and yeah, sure, in this part of the state, Santa Fe is not always super popular, all that stuff, but regardless, we all live here.
They are the governing body of this state,
right, and so we all live here.
Or laws that come out of that,
right? Yeah, when you look at these statistics, that we are either, depending on the year, 1 or 2 in the country for malpractice suits per capita. We are number 1 in the country for malpractice payouts. Okay. So what am I talking about? We're talking about malpractice when basically doctors are getting sued.
Sure.
Okay. We're number 1 or 2 in the country for doctors being sued year in, year out. We are number 1 in the country in every single year in doctors leaving the state. Okay. We are one of the few states in the country that has a net negative of doctors. Okay. That alone should be a shocking thing. But since in 2021, they changed a bunch of legislative stuff. They made all these different caps. And what caps are is basically how much a doctor can be sued for. Okay.
Gotcha.
They increased those. And since then, you can talk to, I talked to one of the private, family medicine doctors here in town who's a wonderful doctor. She's amazing. I talked to her husband. Her malpractice doubled this year. She has never been sued in her career. But the insurance is just like home insurance. Guaranteed, my office flooded. Guaranteed my insurance is going to double.
Right.
Why? Because of the risk, right? And so insurance companies work like that. They come and say, well, Ruidoso had a fire.
Yeah.
Now there's a fire risk. And guess what? Your insurance is more. And eventually you get to the point.
You get a car accident in your home. Guess what? When in your home life, you get a car accident. Guess what? Your car insurance goes up to fix that.
In Clayton County, the only hospital in Clayton County last year almost shut down because they could not find an insurance company to take them on.
To cover.
Okay. They came down to December 31st. The governor's office had to get involved. The state, insurance people had to get involved just to basically beg some company out of England to cover them because no one would take on their insurance. Okay. You can't own a house if you don't have insurance. You unless you can pay for it yourself, but you really can't. And so
who can do
a
that?
hospital
Yeah.
can't operate without health insurance. Without insurance, doctors can't insure. So when I look around and I'm watching what's happening, and there's a big report that came out, and I don't expect any listeners to read it, but it's 60 pages, and it's actually a very important read. It came from a nonpartisan group that's called Think New Mexico, and I haven't always agreed with everything they said. In fact, I think I disagreed with a lot of stuff they said over the past 10 years.
Sure.
But they came out, and the facts are we're number one in doctors leaving. We're number 1 or 2 in doctors getting sued. We're number 1 in payouts. And our healthcare system is like absolutely. And I think what people don't understand is, maybe they do, but you can't deliver a baby in Carlsbad.
I've heard a lot of places are not accepting, aren't delivering babies anymore. That's a thing.
Presbyterian Hospital, which is the largest hospital network in the state, stopped delivering babies because
they have to go to Artesia?
Artesia doesn't.
People in Carlsbad
have to go to Roswell. You can't deliver a baby in Artesia.
Wow. What about Hobbs?
I'm not sure about Hobbs.
Okay.
I think Hobbs, you can either go to Midland, or I think they might have an OB there. But, there's OB groups here. But if you live in Artesia, you have to come to Roswell to deliver a baby. You live in Carlsbad, you have to come to Roswell to deliver a baby.
Yeah.
Well, why? Right?
People
don't understand.
Less in Roswell offering that service too.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's the trend, right? I mean, the thing is like, and it's like one of those things that like you barely have enough doctors, but the system doesn't work. People don't. What I don't think our legislators understand. And I encourage people to call their legislators, and the legislators down here, I've talked to almost all of them, so far, and they are very supportive of this. They understand this because they live in a rural area, and they understand that, hey, we need doctors, okay?
But some of the more urban representatives
are
a little,
I mean, look, one of the biggest donors to politics in New Mexico, surprise, surprise, is out-of-state trial attorneys. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I mean, these are facts.
Sure.
Right? They are huge donors. Okay. Why?
Money is the puppet that moves things.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things that, I would love to put a billboard up that says that, like, your legislators work for trial attorneys out of state, and your doctors work for you but the thing is, the doctors, they want to be here. The doctors who are here want to be here, but they're leaving. I mean, they're leaving because, what I don't think people understand is, I'm not saying we shouldn't hold doctors accountable for stuff.
Absolutely.
Things happen, of course. That's why there's a balance of checks and balances.
Sure.
But when you sit there and look at it, and it's like
you can't do it at gunpoint either, and
right.
That's almost where we're getting to.
It's even worse than gunpoint because you could do nothing wrong, but there can be a bad outcome. Yeah, I do surgery for a living, and there are things that happen. People get dry socks, they get infections. I mean, and you manage and we take care of them. But if I was, if, for example, there was a gallbladder case that happened and something happened, you sign a waiver, hey, this happens, 1 in 200 people have this outcome. Okay. Well, that happened, and the doctor got sued for a lot of money, and they lost almost all their retirement. They lost their home in the suit, and they didn't do anything wrong, right? Just
it was that 1 in a million chance,
right?
Or whatever.
Well, no, it was 1 in 200. But it's a thing that happens, right?
Yeah.
And normally, and the person didn't die or whatever, but these things happen. So then
just
suddenly,
a tragic thing,
right? It's a tragic thing. It happens. Yeah. It's just like cancer. It's tragic.
Yeah.
Having.
But that doesn't mean you get to sue the living daylights out of
right. And of course, you're upset. People want to be mad at someone.
Now, if they can prove the doctor did a thing that caused that,
sure,
then there's their thing. But if it's just the dice rolled this
right.
time, then
but in New Mexico, so there's an
that's where the difference is,
right? There was a kid in Silver City. Yeah. Okay, football player, young guy, was playing football, had a head injury. Mm-hmm. Okay. He ended up dying. He needed a simple procedure that should have been easy for pretty much any surgeon. You don't even need a neurosurgeon. But the kid died when he shouldn't have died. And the reason he died was because none of the doctors in that area wanted to take call because their insurances did not want them taking call. Wow. Okay? Because you end up in a situation where if you take call, you're dealing with things that are not. It's not like, if I work in my office, I'm dealing with things that I see but instead you walk into disasters, right? And this kid died, right? Kids should not be dying in New Mexico. I had a patient die waiting to see a specialist in Albuquerque. Okay. It took her 4 months to get in to see heart image to come go to the ER. Okay. And she ended up moving in with her sister in Albuquerque, or moving in with family in Albuquerque just to be closer to better health care.
Right.
And so
from her perspective,
she went to the ER. She kept going to the ER. You need imaging. You need all this stuff to see what's going on with your heart. You're having shortness of breath. You're having leg pain. We need to see you have a cardiologist. Wait. She waited, and she was 2 months away from seeing her specialist, finally for that appointment, and she died.
Jeez.
Okay. And just died at home. And when they did her autopsy, it was exactly what everybody thought it was, that she just didn't see a specialist. She couldn't get in to see a specialist. And I personally, I don't want that for my parents.
No.
I don't want that for my patients. I don't want that for my wife or my children.
And at what point does the patient's family have a right to sue the insurance for saying, "Hey, you guys"?
Well, I don't even know it's an insurance, because it's like it's really the state who is
the laws that are,
yeah. Why is it there's more neurosurgeons in Lubbock, Texas than there is in New Mexico?
I just also have a thing that if you're an insurance company and you're things that's what you're supposed to do, then you're supposed to do it. People pay a lot of money to do it. And
like healthcare insurance. I think about healthcare insurance.
Yeah, it's another debate altogether.
Sure.
But at the same point, I'm also thinking, like, when you get into these situations, like, wait a minute, I pay a lot of money for my healthcare. Your job is to get things like this done.
Right.
Why isn't that happening?
Right.
Too? And so I mean, I get your perspective. I think there's 7 perspectives
No.
It's not. It's one of those things. Kind of where I'm thinking this is the big thing.
Right.
It's, because from a consumer perspective, your legislators and everything are like, we're here to protect you. We're going to make sure these doctors pay for when they kill your loved ones.
Right.
And all
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, until you realize that it's like, hold on, what are we talking about here?
We're not safer when there's less doctors.
But and when does some of the onus fall on the patient too? Because I know for a fact that every time I've had anything I've had doctors tell me do this, and this, and if I don't do this and this and I have a problem with it,
sure,
it's on me. Like
right.
I'll tell you right now, I had one of my wisdom teeth, and this was before you, but many moons ago, I had the wisdom teeth, and they said, don't do this, or you're going to get a dry socket. I did, and sure, I did do it, but I didn't do it long enough or whatever, and sure enough, dry socket happened, but do I sue my dentist now because I got a dry socket?
Right.
No, that was my fault.
Right.
And so I feel like we also need to, we as a society, say, hey, stop, because you didn't want to do what the doctor said, doesn't mean you get to sue them.
Right, and so a big part of it is, and you look at it, New Mexico's laws are set up in such a way that pretty much any court case can be taken anywhere. Mm-hmm. Well, why is it that all these malpractice cases are taken up to Albuquerque and Santa Fe? Because the judges and the juries seem to favor more towards the patients, which I'm all about protecting patients. Like, I want to protect
people's court for 100 years, and we all want to see
right
with the big
yay,
this guy got $1 million.
Right, yeah. But you look at it and it's like, and so I think the onus does fall on people because they're voting in these, we're voting in these legislators that are quietly taking kickbacks. They're taking, I understand the want to, hold doctors accountable when things go wrong. Absolutely. 100%. I have one of my best friends was wronged by a doctor in Lubbock, and it is a travesty what happened there, and that doctor should have been held accountable, and I don't think he was held accountable to that extent.
Sure.
But also, if you have a system where all the doctors are leaving, you are not safer and not getting, you're saying, hey, the owner should be on me, but I think as the state that has the third highest tax revenue per capita in the country, the people here deserve better health care.
Absolutely.
And
can I ask you a question just from your perspective?
Sure.
As a healthcare professional, is there a state or is there a region that's doing it right that you say we should model our healthcare?
Yeah, I mean
after?
Texas, Colorado, they have healthy healthcare systems. Arizona has a really good.
What some of the big I'm guessing the devil's in the details. Like what are they doing right that we're doing wrong?
So you look at our neighboring states.
Yeah,
they all have you look at Texas. Mm-hmm. They have Lubbock, El Paso are phenomenal healthcare systems.
Right,
they're literally across our border, and yet they have phenomenal healthcare systems. Right. That are not struggling, they're not understaffed. They have all the specialists they need.
Sure.
They are doing great. You go further in.
All of us go there to get
Everybody goes there to get health care, right? So you look around and it's like, you go to Houston, massive medical center. They got MD Anderson. They got all this stuff. You go to Phoenix, they got Mayo. They got MD. They got all this stuff, right? You go to Colorado, they have UC system is massive, and it's all over the state. The number one respiratory hospital in the country is in Denver, is National Jewish. they have these like massive specialty hospitals, and why do specialists who want to take on complex cases, why would you come to a state where taking on a complex patient puts your entire life at risk, right? It's just common sense. So again, it's like, look, I'm not advocating I want good doctors here, but you also need good doctors that have backup, right?
Absolutely.
You've
got to support the good doctors so they want to stay here and continue to be doctors.
There was like an 8, possibly longer stretch last year and the end of the year, which apparently is very common, where there was not a single pediatric ICU bed available in New Mexico. Okay. If you're a parent or a grandparent, that should terrify you.
Absolutely.
That if your child gets bronchitis or RSV, ends up sick and can't breathe very well, there's nowhere for them to go, right? I want better health care for my children. It makes me terrified to like sit there and look at this. I'm like, it's crumbling. We have, to be honest, Mexico's not the healthiest state in the country, for sure. We need better health care than our neighbors, because of our health, because of the health of our population. But I look around and I'm, like dentists don't even have a cap in New Mexico. They have a cap in every state around us, right? A cap means like how much you can be sued for.
Sure.
Well, what I'm seeing is all the specialists who do surgery are leaving the state and they're not returning. Okay. And why would you? Why would you come set up shop here?
It's kind of like walking on a tightrope and to practice medicine in the state of New Mexico to compare to other states.
They're leaving. I'm not talking end of career guys leaving.
Right.
I mean, middle of their career, and people who have raised their families here.
Sure.
I mean, you also have, New Mexico, and not to be super down in New Mexico, but like, I love it here.
Yeah.
My family's here. But like, we have a crime problem. We have an education problem, so it's multifaceted, but at the same time, I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm like,
it's kind of one of those things is like, say all other things were perfect. Maybe they're thinking, all right, well, I'll hang out. But they're saying, look, I don't get the support I got as the thing. And by the way, the amenities aren't exactly what I want here. Why am I staying here?
Right. Or why would I come here?
Or why would I come here to begin with? Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
A friend of mine who's not a physician, he had a death in his family. There was honestly just a healthcare system. He died. His uncle died in Albuquerque, and it was a situation where, he shouldn't have died. Okay, it was just the hospital was overwhelmed. It was a preventable thing. Okay, the guy literally, they just didn't know what to do with him, so they put him on a ventilator. It was all during. It wasn't even because of COVID. It was because of he had a heart attack. But then the hospital was like, we don't have a specialist that does this stuff, so like we're just gonna keep him on a ventilator for months and or weeks or whatever, much longer. They finally got him in bed after like weeks in a specialist, at Loveless Heart Hospital. Heart Hospital was like, why is this guy on a ventilator? He shouldn't even be on a ventilator. And they were like, we're asking them, we're like, well, we just didn't know how to manage it. So that's the best we could do. We were keeping him alive until we can get him to a specialist.
Sure.
So he ended up having damage to his vocal cords, couldn't swallow, ended up choking his own spit and died. Wow. I mean, but this should not have happened. And when I talked to him, he was like, this colleague of mine, this friend of mine, not a colleague, but he's a friend of mine. I grew up with him, and he's sitting there saying, he's like, I look around, and he's like, not only do we have this legal system that is, our legislators have been privy to, our court systems have been privy to, and our juries have been privy to.
Sure.
We have this legal system that like really deters doctors from being here. But even if that wasn't bad, we're still like top of crime, bottom of education, all these other things. He's like, we should be going after these doctors even hard, like with more incentives than any of our neighbors. We shouldn't even be in the discussion of being like less than our neighbors in these things. We should be more than our neighbors to actually attract them to come in here because we need them.
Let me ask you this: because at the end of the day, you're a small business. You're a small business owner in Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
What are the our bigger entities, our Lovelaces, our Easterns, our Presbyterians, our all these national companies in some cases, are they I gotta imagine they're trying to work the legislature. They've got
absolutely
lobbyists or whomever in there, but
sure.
Like, what are they doing? Because obviously you use the guy who hangs your shingle in Roswell, New Mexico, or your guy. You and Sarah just kind of doing your thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
we just take care of our community the best we can.
You don't have the juice to make a difference in those circles. These entities do. Right. What do you know what's being done about this kind of stuff?
So wish I could say I don't know. Yeah. Honestly, I have, for example, Warren Yell is the CEO of the hospital here at Eastern, and he's a really good guy. Warren has been canvassing, he's been talking to legislators, he's been doing everything he can. Sure. But he's doing it on his own, and his reason is like he's looking around, he's saying, I'm struggling to get my doctors insured who haven't even been sued before. Right. They're getting dropped from the insurances because the caps keep raising so high, and they're getting to the risk keeps increasing to the word. He's like, I'm spending all my time trying to get insurance to these people. But one of the problems is, and I agree with this. I discussed this with a trial attorney on a different show, and they were like, well, all these hospitals are being bought by private equity companies, and they're right. Absolutely, yes, they are. Loveless, etc. Even Presbyterian is now being bought. Okay, or possibly going to be bought by an outside company. Well, why? Well, the reason is because just it's being harder and harder to run a hospital here. Okay, and so they get short sold. I mean, if you're doing really well, sure, and you're just it's a really good system, and you have a really great brand, and you're just every year after year you're doing really well, and you're doing everything you're supposed to do. You're not getting sold on pennies on the dollar to some private equity company that's coming in to just venture capitalists to buy them because you need to be bailed out.
And I also know too, just kind of having conversations with county commissioners and city councilors and things like that over the years, in not just in Roswell but in other areas too. When it comes to how the state funds hospitals and things, because obviously hospital does a lot of work that for the government, basically, indigent funds, when you can't, you can't walk into an ER and they can't deny you health care. Right. Because the government pays them not to deny you health care. Right, But I also know this state has given a lot of hospitals the runaround in counties and municipalities, the runaround,
which is
on
crazy.
How indigent fund gets in there, which is another layer of why am I going to set up shop here if I'm not even going to get my indigent fund stuff?
Well, then you look at it and you're like, half the state's on Medicaid, right? Almost half the state's on Medicaid, which you look at the Medicaid fees in Colorado, they're multiples of here, right? It's just like, so, and again, there's another layer to the problems here. And the fact that they haven't, they're talking about possibly increasing them this year, but it's like, they don't even, if you're a federal employee, my dad was a federal employee, year in, year out, you get whatever inflation is, you get that as, automatic raise year in, year out. Well, why aren't healthcare systems doing that? Why isn't the state paying, why is it that, for Medicaid, the state hasn't increased 20 some years their fees for Medicaid dental, for example? They haven't increased them. Well, there's been a lot of inflation in the last 20 years, and so, and then the legislature sits there and like they celebrate that so many people are on Medicaid, and I look around and I'm like, well, who's taking it? Right. It doesn't matter how many people you sign up. You're looking at the wrong number. So, anyways,
but that's government mindset,
right. But I think it's just one of those things. Yeah.
Okay, but doing what? I don't know. Absolutely. But we got people.
What the only thing I know how to do is call legislators, call people in Santa Fe. Sure. Anybody can call them. Sure. People don't realize, like, you voted them in. They work for you, and when you call their office, they need to talk to you.
I would also offer this out too. If you do have a decent relationship with your doctors and
talk to them,
ask their opinion when you're next time you're getting your checkup or whatever. Say, hey, I was listening on the radio. How does that impact you? What do you think about that? Yeah. Hear what they have to say, because I'm going to take a stab especially if you had your doctor, you're going to trust their opinion and stuff, kind of like Keon's my dude from my teeth. When he says stuff, I tend to believe him.
No, but I have a lot of physicians who are patients of ours, and I talk to them, and like I said, we have a lot of doctors in our office who are come see us for dentistry and stuff, and so I talk to them about what's going on, and they're all just like one of the saddest things is a very close friend of mine who's an OBGYN who's probably delivered a third of the babies in the last 20, 30 years in this area. I mean, no kidding. I mean, this guy's amazing.
Kind of one of those ones like,
he delivered my children.
Sister.
Yeah. I mean, he has. And
goes to a restaurant. That one, no, not that one, but that one, yeah.
But when he's walking around, someone who loves this area, has dedicated his whole career to this place, says, if I graduated today, there's no way I would come here. Yeah. That's sad.
That's a horrible statement.
That's not, it's like, and to say that, like, I can't, I dream of getting out of here. Yeah. Because, and so that's not what you want from guys who have been the community backbone for delivering babies for 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's when I just look, I think people don't know, and that's why I wanted to come on here and talk about it. There's obviously a lot of different opinions. One of the opinions I keep hearing from the attorneys is, oh, well, it must be the insurance companies, like the malpractice insurance. We need to hold them accountable. But then when it came around to it, after a while, they're like, well, if we start lowering how much lawyers can make, then then they're losing out on money. And it's like, okay, so really all it comes down to is, it's like, do you want a state that is good for lawyers, or good for patients?
Well, and I think in the big picture, just talking generally, like you said here, I think at the end of the day, and this is not just a New Mexico problem. This is a country problem.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we have too many entities making decisions on healthcare stuff. At the end of the day, all of this stuff should be between doctor, patient,
Agreed.
What's going on.
Absolutely.
The government should not have a say on anything in that conversation.
No. Insurance
nor should the insurance company.
No, agreed.
And both of those should just say, what'd the doctor say? The one who's been to school and who's done training him and doing this for 20 years.
Who actually did evaluate you?
Yes. This is the person we should be, and everything that they say should be working towards. Now, I get it. If you get some, and I understand, not every doctor is a good person.
Sure.
I get that. I've seen enough LA plastic surgeon stuff going on. They can be bought and sold. But I also think if you set the table right, they won't have a desire to be bought and sold.
Right.
That's what I mean. They can do the healthcare. And I'm not trying to, I'm just saying maybe we need to take a look at the whole big picture.
No, absolutely.
Say, when
100%.
it comes to healthcare, I get it should be something we all get easily, and it should be something that, we have to, and I understand too that, people live different lifestyles. I don't think you should be punished or not punished based on your lifestyle. Life happens.
Sure.
You eat a lot of food, you're diabetic. I hate to say this, but education for food and stuff is different today than it was for many people walking this earth that are my age and older.
Yeah.
And so what you think's this and that, and then you judge, I'm like, yeah, but you, and so everyone loves to judge lifestyle. But it's all about perspective and where you came from and what you know and what you didn't know.
And the stress you went through and what your life looked like.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think healthcare comes into that. We need to just, it's like, hey, we need to start shut up and judge and just saying, hey, people need help. How do we help them?
Right.
And let's figure out a way to pay for it. Let's figure out a way to make it available to anyone that needs it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. I think without a doubt, you're absolutely right. There's more than one problem here.
Sure.
Right? There is a series of problems, and there's no one fix, right? But I can tell you that there's one big glaring reason that we're number one in doctors leaving, right? Now, if we fix that, which it's called tort reform, but that is just basically if we fix this malpractice situation, are they going to flood back to the state? Probably not. Okay, but that is the reason they're leaving, right? That's the reason they're flooding out of the state.
Sure.
So if we don't at least plug that hole, which is a very easy hole. They could fix it in a legislation. They could fix it in 2 days. Okay. They could literally put it to a vote and fix it in 2 days in Santa Fe. Whereas fixing the entire, the health of an entire state is going to take decades,
well,
right?
Let's start to get to the point where at least we're not a pariah to bring new healthcare professionals to the state.
Yeah.
And let's start there. So maybe shoot a letter to your
call them,
and
text them, email them. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to. I think a lot of our legislators down here are totally very good. They're very understanding of this. It happens to be their counterparts up north, but
just tips, just based on my conversations with legislators over the year. Be polite, be respectful, be direct, but also be very obvious that you are a constituent. Tell them you live in their district. Tell them, because I'm telling you right now, they will. They get inundated with so much mail,
right?
And so a lot of it's spam, junk. Ooh, one of my constituents, not junk. So please make it, shoot it from the moon. Put it in the constituent concern. Put that in your email subject line or whatever it is. But make that a point, and I guarantee your legislator will read it and put time and effort. Because at least I know for a fact all of our local ones will, because they've said as much to me and say I carry much more weight when someone that lives in my district is asking me a concern or has.
But it makes sense. Someone tells you a story, and that's really what it is.
Because they literally, like you said earlier, the biggest fighter is outside money coming in, and guess who they're attacking? Our legislators.
Absolutely.
So they get inundated with emails, and you know this because of this and that, and they just want to hear from Jane or John Q. Public that lives in their district that has a concern, because that's why they're here, and that's what. And I know even the people you don't agree with politically, at the end of the day, they're there because of the people that live in their stuff.
That's why they're there. Yep. Absolutely.
And of course, if you need any dental help, of course,
no, not a plug for dental.
But I will tell you this: if you're having dental issues, me personally, Keon's taking care of me and my wife, and we're good people. So if you need teeth help,
well, I appreciate that.
He's good. He's good. He got.
We're good people on the other side too. You guys are great. You guys are great.
All right. Well, thank you, Keon. I'm sure you
thanks.
maybe of patience ready to like, why not Keon shut up and get in here and get on my teeth?
Time to go get on the teeth. Yeah, absolutely.
He does that at the office too. All his dental assistants, he'll be in here eventually.
Well, you're good company. So yeah.
Thank you as always.
Thank you, Mike.
We appreciate your
absolutely.
And thank you for everything you do in the community, because Keon's in here talking about this stuff, but he's also comes in here all the time and talks about, hey, we got a big free dental clinic coming on down the road. And this is something that,
which we do have. We have one in March up in Gallup that we're putting on, and then we're doing one in Albuquerque, doing free dentures for folks. So
excellent.
So so we're constantly trying to give back.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This is when Keon's coming on here, he's really a person that just loves his community, and it's feeling like our community's getting hurt by some decisions being made in Santa Fe.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
thank you, sir.
And stay cool, warm.
Whatever it is.
7:54. We need to shut our holes to.
Data sent the yield on the benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury lower. Its rate fell by more than 10 basis points. And as for that economic data, the Producer Price Index found wholesale prices went up 0.4% in January, month over month, a larger than expected increase. And that came after the Consumer Price Index, which checked in at 3% for annual inflation, meaning an interest rate cut from the Fed is not likely until the second half of the year. With business, I'm James Flippin.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report. Support a healthy heart, just like the thousands that are turning to Peak Organic Fermented Beets, the ultimate nitric oxide booster for energy, circulation, and endurance. Just one delicious scoop a day. Supports healthy blood flow, powering your workouts, mental clarity, and heart health. Plus, it's organic, non-GMO, and tastes great. Join their 90-day Peak Beets challenge by visiting peakbeetsradio.com and feel the difference for yourself. Get one free jar, plus an extra $10 listener discount when you get started today. Visit peakbeetsradio.com to learn more. That's peakbeetsradio.com.
Now, your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Artesia Arts Council is hosting Paint Your Partner today for Valentine's Day. Whether you're a couple, friends, or family members, it's billed as a fun event for everyone and a great way to spend Valentine's Day. The event starts at 7 tonight at 310 West Main Street in Artesia. The New Mexico Department of Health confirming the first case of measles this year in Lee County. This after health officials yesterday urged residents to take precautions due to an outbreak just across the border in Texas. State health leaders say the patient is an unvaccinated teenager in Lee County. New Mexico Health working with the teen's family to identify anyone that may have come in contact with the teenager. Anyone who visited the following locations at these times may have been exposed to measles. On Thursday, February 6th, from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the 6th Grade Academy Gymnasium in Lovington. And on Sunday, February 9th, between 10 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. at the Norlee Hospital Emergency Department, 1600 Main Street in Lovington. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty warm today, but we will be cooling off a little bit with a cold front set to drop through. Windy today, few gusts around 30 miles an hour, sunny, and we'll top out in the low 70s. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s to low 40s. Cooler and gusty on Saturday. It will be sunny, though. Afternoon highs in the low 60s. Clear on Saturday night, and then even cooler on Sunday, upper 50s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Let's give you the rundown for Friday night basketball action. Start with the Roswell guys. After beating Hobbs earlier this week, the Coyotes are 19-5, 3-1 in district. Carlsbad 16-8, 2-2 in district. Roswell beat Carlsbad by 3 points back on January 31st. Meanwhile, the Carlsbad girls will be hosting Roswell tonight at 7. The Roswell girls still seeking their first district victory. Goddard will be hosting Portales in a girls-boys doubleheader. The girls game, Portales is the district leader so far with the 3-0 mark. Goddard is 1-2. And the Goddard guys hosting Portales, both teams are 1-2 in district. Last time they played, Goddard lost by 16 at Portales. That was on January 31st. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
Hey, Roswell, love is in the air, and your friends at Roswell Ford are relationship experts. Really? No, just kidding. But we do have an offer that will take your breath away. Get unprecedented savings during our biggest President's Day sales event ever, this week only at Roswell Ford. Right now, everybody gets friends and family pricing. Save up to $8,000 off MSRP on new Fords with 0 down and 0% APR for 72 months. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles in prime condition starting at just $10,000. Making payments on your current car, truck, or SUV and want out early? Roswell Ford wants to terminate your current lease or loan, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And our aggressive lenders will push to approve your credit, even if your credit is less than perfect. Huge savings, more for your trade, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR is $13.89 per thousand finance on select in-stock vehicles. Trade balance refinance to new loan, subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
Talk radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Vice President Vance rebukes European leaders for squelching freedom of speech and conscience.
The vice president made his remarks during a NATO security conference Friday in Munich, a day after visiting a notorious Nazi-era concentration camp.
There is no security if you are afraid of the voices, the opinions, and the conscience that guide your very own people.
Mr. Vance reasserted the U.S. demand that NATO members step up defense spending to balance American levels of financing the security alliance.
Correspondent George Williams says Vance will be meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky, also attending the summit. Federal workforce layoffs have begun as the administration strives to cut the size and the cost of government. Probationary employees yet to be covered by civil service protections are being pink-slipped. President Trump planning tariffs to match those charged by other countries on U.S. imports. The president says it's all about fairness. On the West Coast, they've seen fire and they've seen rain.
Southern California is getting hit by destructive debris flows caused by heavy rains. Rain sent debris across roads, including the Pacific Coast Highway. A fire department vehicle was pushed into the ocean. The debris flow is coming from the wildfires in Los Angeles. Jeremiah Small lives in Altadena.
We're trying to do our own personal assessment of risk and not get caught up in the hype train, but also not be, casual about it either.
He spoke to KABC. I'm Ed Donahue.
Wintry weather in the form of ice and snow has snarled travel across parts of the Pacific Northwest. Reports of multiple vehicle pileups on highways in Oregon and Washington with at least 10 people injured. On Wall Street this hour, the Dow is down 49 points, while the Nasdaq is trading 29 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Roman ruins have been unearthed in the heart of London.
Archaeologists exploring the site of a planned 32-story office tower announced that they have unearthed the remains of a Roman basilica that once stood at the heart of the city known as Londinium. Andrew Henderson Schwartz, head of public impact at the Museum of London Archaeology.
It's where you went to do your business. It's where you went for court proceedings.
It's been called one of the most significant discoveries in years by archaeologists. The site's developer has agreed to put the remains on display in a visitor centre when the building is done. Karen Shamas, London.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk have met during Modi's visit to the U.S., where he spoke with President Trump about trade and tariff concerns. Modi says that he and Musk discussed various issues, including space, mobility, technology, and innovation, but made no direct reference to the billionaire's Starlink satellite internet service. Townhall.com. A bipartisan effort is underway on Capitol Hill to ensure that AM radio remains a staple in every car across the country.
With concerns over public safety, free speech, and rural accessibility, lawmakers are pushing back against automakers' moves to phase out AM radio from new vehicles. Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz and Massachusetts Democrat Senator Ed Markey are fighting back against efforts to remove AM radios from new cars. Senator Cruz emphasized its significance, saying, quote, "It's critical to keep us safe. It also continues to be the most reliable form of emergency communication during severe weather and power outages." Bernie Bennett reporting.
After about a month, TikTok has returned to the Apple and Google app stores. The popular China-owned app is back after President Trump delayed enforcement of a ban on TikTok in the U.S. It's estimated that more than 170 million Americans use the video sharing app, which has been the target of national security and privacy concerns. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock already. Morning's just whipping by.
Well, time is a fickle construct, sir.
Yes,
because it is officially the halfway point of February today. 28 days in February. Today's February 14th, 7/14/21/28.
That's right. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy halfway day, happy Valentine's Day, and happy hour number 3.
Yeah, that's right. I was gonna.
You're not gonna hit me with a trace of Uranus?
No, I was
That
gonna do
your
it.
First chance.
I was gonna do it. I was about to hit it with hour number. Oh, for me to.
I was gonna say you could have hit it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was
That's
gonna.
all
I was going the other way.
We didn't rehearse beforehand.
No,
So.
it's off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got cuffed. But
it is cuffing season.
Welcome to hour number 3.
Trace and Viernos.
Oh, Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5. See, that feels right.
It did. And now we've arrived.
Now I'm centered. But yeah, happy Friday. Allegedly, it's going to be 70 today. I don't know. Is that frost on that tree?
I think it's starting to show its age.
Yeah. Got a little few gray bark. It's got some gray bark.
Much like the host of this show, the tree outside has changed colors over the course of the last.
That's right.
8 or so years.
Yes, this is true. Hey, I haven't talked about this on the radio, but I got to talk about this on the radio.
Okay.
This is just weird, man. I don't know if y'all heard in the last couple days, but over the Super Bowl weekend, apparently one Patrick Mahomes Sr.
Yes.
And who, by the way, I learned was a former baseball player. He used
Really?
to play for the Braves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hence this reason for this altercation. He got into it with, if y'all remember, depending on your age, a Mr. John Rocker that used to play for the Atlanta Braves.
Old Kotex ankle.
Yeah.
So the only reason I remember him is, and the reason, I'll tell you why I call him that in a second.
Yeah.
He was, I believe, wasn't he a pitcher for one of the World Series games?
Yeah.
And he rolled his ankle or shattered his ankle.
Something like that, yeah.
Like took a ball to it or something like that.
Yeah.
But he came out with this bloody bandaged ankle.
Yeah.
And still pitched.
Yeah.
So Opie and Anthony at the time, Anthony named him Old Kotex ankle, and I've never forgotten that as long as I live.
Well, he's more known for being overtly racist, but
There's
that's
another John Rocker story too.
But anyway,
yeah.
Apparently, him and Patrick Mahomes Sr. got into it.
Senior as in Patrick Mahomes' dad, or
correct?
Okay.
As in Patrick
I didn't know
Mahomes' dad.
I didn't know
yes.
Mahomes was a junior.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
okay.
it's his dad. And well, I guess they were teammates, and that's kind of why they know each other. But they had some dust up out there, and Senior, I'm going to take a stab with 3 sheets to the wind, was didn't take kindly whatever the exchange took place there, and so they then they started beefing online, and now it's turned into they're going to box each other. And Portnoy and Barstool's putting it all together.
Celebrity dad boxing? That's fantastic.
John Rocker and Patrick Mahomes Sr. I can't imagine the Chiefs or Junior's going to put a kibosh on this. But
Did you ever hear Jim Brewer's John Rocker bit? He's like, he runs to the mound. Who runs to the mound? I can pitch a ball. He does the whole impression. But anyways, I'm intrigued. So they're gonna throw down. They're gonna throw
I don't know
hands.
the date or what all that set, but yeah, they've signed a contract where these two are apparently going to box, and it's all Barstool Sports and Portnoy and all that
That's
stuff.
funny because that's the second dad story that's come my way today. I say that because I was sent a video this morning. I guess John Cena's dad just showed up at like a restaurant or something, and then this happened. Let me see if I can turn it up here. John Cena's dad. John Cena's dead.
That's weird.
That's fantastic.
That's funny.
But
I thought there was like a "Now You See Me" thing or something going on there.
And then, but he did change it because like,
are you really
on,
his dad?
Later on, it's like, "My dad is here. My dad is here." But yeah, so a lot of fathers in the news today. That's interesting.
That's surprising because I legit thought they were going to go with, "Are you really like you don't see his dad?
You can't see him.
You can't see him." That's what they were going with.
That's crazy.
Man.
Did you hear about the rumor that Taylor's boyfriend might retire?
Yeah, he's got till the Chiefs have given him till like March 15th or something to tell him, "Hey, you coming back or we got to playing without you here." So
I'm gonna look up this info on this boxing match because I'm genuinely curious.
all right, I'm gonna give the rundown real quick and then we'll get the hour going. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a few. We're gonna have first off, I believe we'll have Barbara Gomez join us with Main Street Roswell, give us a quick update on things happening there, and then we'll have the folks in the Roswell Public Library. I'm not sure if they're here yet or not. And to give us a update on what's happening at the Roswell Public Library, including the event we were talking about earlier, the Blackdom, what is the official term? Not Celebration Day. I want to get the term correct. Blackdom's Legacy Day. That's the term. That's from 1 to 4 at the library tomorrow. So we'll talk about that and other things happening at the library as well. But Foyt, did you get the...
as far as I can tell, it's just a troll towards Patrick Mahomes. It says Portnoy trolls Patrick Mahomes with QB's dad to fight John Rocker in a barstool boxing match.
I saw things saying they signed a contract, so maybe. But then again, it was the internet, so you know how that goes. It is 9:12. Let's get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty warm today, but we will be cooling off a little bit with a cold front set to drop through. Windy today, a few gusts around 30 miles an hour, sunny, and we'll top out in the low 70s. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s to low 40s, cooler and gusty on Saturday. It will be sunny though, afternoon highs in the low 60s. Clear on Saturday night and then even cooler on Sunday, upper 50s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 35 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 59% with winds out of the south at 12 miles per hour. They say it's going to warm up today. 71. We're supposed to get 71 here under partly cloudy skies. However, it will be windy. South winds 10 to 15 this morning, but picking up 15 to 20 out of the southwest. Gusting as high as 30 miles per hour by this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 40. Southwest winds at around 15 miles per hour. Sunny and 62 for you Saturday, but going to be breezy. Northwest winds 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear skies with an overnight low of 29 degrees. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. So big cooler night, too, because, 40 tonight and 29 the next night. So big drop there. Sunny on Sunday, 56 for a high there. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday night, cloudy with an overnight low of 30. And then for President's Day, Monday, partly cloudy, back into the 70s, 71. Then we drop into the mid-50s Tuesday, upper 40s for Wednesday, then back to mid-50s by Thursday of next week. All right, it is 14 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And then on the other side, we'll have Barbara Gomez join us with Main Street Roswell. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Good morning.
Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, and that means double your down payment. $500 becomes $1,000. $1,000 becomes $2,000. Up to $2,000 means $4,000 towards your next new or pre-owned vehicle, like a 2020 Chevy Silverado priced under $30,000, a 2022 Dodge Charger SXT slashed to under $24,000, or a 2016 Ford F-150 priced under $20,000. Double up and save during Double Up Days on now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Tired of living with chronic pain? Soft Wave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell is here to help.
I couldn't believe it. My knee pain is practically gone after just a few sessions.
Soft Wave Therapy for Premier Chiropractic uses cutting-edge sound wave technology to target inflammation and stimulate your body's natural healing process. No surgery, no downtime, just real relief.
Now I can finally enjoy life again with no shoulder pain.
Don't let pain hold you back. Discover the power of Soft Wave Therapy today from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell. Call now for your free consultation at 623-2900 or visit healthyroswell.com. Soft wave therapy from Premier Chiropractic, 1301 North Richardson in Roswell. Restoring life.
Stock up your freezer with premium New Mexico grown beef cuts delivered straight to your door from Runyon Cattle Meats. Runyon Cattle Meats offers premium grass-fed, grain-finished beef in whole, halves, and quarters, along with special seasonings that perfectly complement the meat. Find mouth-watering recipes, cut lists, gift baskets, and more at RunyonCattleMeats.com. Order today by calling Runyon Cattle Meats at 575-760-5655 or online RunyonCattleMeats.com.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
So you've got questions about the birds and the bees? What would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben Manette with Roswell Seed Company. If Jim was here, he'd tell you that it's time to order your bees. You'll get a 3-pound box of live bees and a queen, and that's enough to start a hive. As for the birds, we're talking about baby chicks. Not only are they cute as can be, they'll soon be supplying your family with fresh eggs. So come see us at Roswell Seed and find out all about the birds and the bees.
Hi, Chef Anthony Noble here with the Valley Cafe at 801 West Brasher. We love serving you our delicious meals for lunch and dinner. The next time you're in on Monday or Tuesday, bring the family and take advantage of our kids' dinner special. With the purchase of an adult meal, you get a kids' meal for 20% off. That's right. Get the kids fed, save a little money, enjoy what I got cooking in the kitchen. Come visit us at 801 West Brasher in the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. We have it all. Come taste and see.
Don't forget, you can also find the Valley Cafe on our website at toasttab.com/Valley Cafe. Also on DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The catfish has over 27,000 taste buds. Do you think they prefer fried or blackened? Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It's after 9 o'clock. This morning from Main Street, Roswell, Barbara Gomez back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great, and happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
This is the day.
It's a big day for a lot of you, so don't forget, okay?
I'm going to say mostly guys, your reminder.
Your reminder.
I'm going to say, I'm not saying it's not possible, but 9 times out of 10, it's the fella that forgets.
Yeah.
So.
If you initiate, it's so much better.
Yes.
Okay, just initiate it, and after that, it gets much easier.
Yeah. Well, good news.
Yeah.
Since Barbara's here on a Friday and it's Main Street Roswell Day and it is Valentine's Day, there's a few places downtown that might be able to help you out if you're behind the 8 ball on your Valentine's Day.
If you woke up this morning going, oh no,
yes.
today's Valentine's. I saw a lot of guys yesterday at the grocery store scrambling, but they...
today's going to be tenfold.
Yeah, but you know what? Down at Albertsons on 2nd Street, they gave them a little shout there only because... My goodness, it looked like a flower shop in there. It was just lots of beautiful roses and everything you can think of.
They do some business out of there with the flowers, yeah.
But, you guys, it doesn't have to be a huge thing. Just remember, okay? So
it's the thought that counts. It really is.
Well, it is the thought that counts, but us girls really like a little something, okay?
But to remind them they're special. That's
right. Yeah. That's right. So this morning I got 2 cards, Mike, so I thought I'd remind you guys. Just a regular card, that says... I like your face, it's kind of a cute card that I got this morning from my husband. But another cute card that you guys might think about, get a card from your dog.
There you go.
I love my dogs, and so my husband got me a card from the dogs.
Okay. So if you got the pet, if you're parents, and that's a good way
if you're pet parents, think about your little doggies.
Because my cats will not do nothing. They could care less.
Yeah,
so it's going to be on me if I'm going to do it.
It's all about cats are like, it's all about me, okay? What are you talking about? So, let me tell you a couple of places downtown that you might want to visit. So if you're one of those guys that loves flowers, we do have 2 flower shops right downtown on the 300 block of Main Street.
Yep.
So we have Apple Blossom on the east side, and we have Behringer's Flowers.
And they do amazing jobs.
And they do an amazing job.
Custom orders. Or if you're looking... like for ideas, you're kind of walking in like, I want to get flowers, but I want to do something different. Yeah. Or maybe for like, everyone does roses. I want to do something different.
Yeah.
Let either one of them will be happy to do that.
Whatever you do, do not do orange carnations, okay?
Is that a cardinal sin?
No, well, it was for my husband. He gave me some one year when he forgot and sent me orange carnations.
Do they mean something else?
I don't know.
Isn't a carnation a friendship thing?
I was like, I think you screwed up.
Yeah, I feel like a carnation is supposed to be another meaning.
Yeah,
so.
it's another meaning. But either way, as long as they're pink, red, I guess, and purple if they like them.
Yeah. But maybe a early spring arrangement might be a nice thing.
Oh yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
I think a bouquet with lots of
plant,
flowers.
Maybe something that lives longer than a week.
Yeah,
that might be a good idea.
You can try that. That'll work. Anything that's flowery. But just keep in mind that Behringer's is like a double. You can get a couple of things for stopping there because they have chocolates.
Oh yeah,
they have a whole.
So you can
bunch
put the
of,
whole
the chocolates and flowers are all
the
there.
whole setup. Yeah.
Now, if your girl is not really into chocolates, you can always walk across the street to Sweet Baby J's. They have amazing cupcakes, cookies,
baked goods,
puddings.
Yeah.
They have pies. They have all kinds of stuff, so you cannot do wrong with that. They have huge chocolate chip cookies with pecans in them or without.
That's right. A lot of love in baked goods.
A lot of love. And over on South 100 Block, we have a new cupcake place over on the east side. I apologize. I can't remember the name of it right this minute, but it's
great.
right next to Aztec Imports.
Okay.
And in between that and the bridal shop.
So give them a try.
Yeah. Now, if you're into really big Valentine stuff or even really, I guess, meaningful and cute, Bullock's Jewelry.
Really?
Do not stop.
Bling.
Do not miss this
You can
place.
never go wrong with bling on Valentine's
You can
Day.
never go wrong. Yeah. I don't care much for custom jewelry, but buy me a little diamond or a really big diamond, and I really like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if your girl is really into arts and she likes designing things or likes beautiful, things to hang on the wall, the Gallery Arts on Main Street is also a place that you can stop in. They have local artists.
You need to check back often in there because every trip in there is a unique visit.
Yeah.
So it's because it's kind of a mall of art because it's all different juried local artists have a kind of a booth there, like a consignment booth, and they got their and it's varied artwork from paintings to ceramics to
pottery,
leatherwork, pottery, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's just really cool in there. And if you want to do something really romantic and put something together for the both of you, contact CS Designs. They can put something together for you for a group or just a couple of you, and they do paintings and all kinds of fun stuff in there.
Create a personal memory or something like that.
And if you're into maybe candles, She's a Dandy has candles. Not only does she have that, she's got all kinds of lotions and potions and
you want a little
good
pampering?
smelly things and pampering. She's also have custom T-shirts in there.
Okay.
And Farm and Ranch Candle Company over on 2nd Street, they have tons of candles. So you can find all kinds of different smells and designs.
Plus
and
decor stuff if you know what your spouse is into. Maybe get nice home decor, spice up.
Yeah,
the home.
if you've never walked in there, they do have it's a very big building in there, but the back end of it, they work on the candles in there. So maybe they have some classes or something you'd like to take. Finishing Touches is another place downtown that's got all kinds of candles and decorations.
Yeah.
And if you want to take her out to eat, don't forget about downtown. We've got Martin's Capital Cafe, Pepper's Grill, El Toro Bravo, La Gran Victoria. We've got the roasted chicken right there behind the site. It's called El Pollo Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's roasted chicken.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something, they also have a bakery.
And with some great desserts in there, too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
another place.
Yeah, it's great.
Like
So-
you like your Tres Leches cakes or some of that stuff. Yeah, or biscochitos.
Biscochitos, big giant cookies or breakfast things like empanadas.
Yeah.
And so don't miss out on those guys for breakfast this morning. Make it a special morning for your girl. So I got you covered for Valentine's. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going on with Main Street, okay?
Perfect.
I want to invite you guys out. I know some of you have heard about the National Championship Air Races.
Yes.
It was, at first they were calling it Rah-Rah for the Reno Air Races Association. But now it's kind of more like in-car.
Yes.
So it stands for the National Championship Air Races.
In Roswell.
In Roswell. So if you're wondering, when do they get here? I'm a business. How should I prepare? Because, Mike, there's going to be so many people in town.
We've got a lot of prep work to do. Yeah.
We have a lot of prep work. So if you're a business and you're wondering, how do I get ready for this? How do I plan? Kyle Bullock put on a presentation yesterday morning at the EDC.
Yeah.
And he had some
which
great...
is also downtown here in the Main Street corridor.
Which is also in the downtown corridor. So we got a lot of great businesses downtown. Yeah. But you might want to reach out to Kyle or to Mike Espiritu at the EDC and ask him about that presentation they gave about how to prepare your business.
Yeah.
What to do, and they talked about, how much inventory to buy or what type of things or how to get, your bathrooms and different things ready for this. It's a great opportunity for you as a business to possibly make some really good money during that time. But we got to be prepared. We have to be ready and be friendly and get our stores ready and try to think about staying open a little bit later because, Mike, some of these people, like the pilots that are going to be in the race themselves, they have to get here early to qualify.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll be getting here, some of them in May.
Yeah, May's going to be a big weekend because that's the weekend that the pilots are going to come in to get certified on the course.
Yes.
Their license or their certifications. And because it's a new location, that means every single pilot has to get certified.
That's right.
In years past, just the new ones because it's the same course.
Yeah, it's the same course.
It's new for everybody, every single person.
Yeah.
So May's going to be kind of a dress rehearsal for September.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So if you want to know more about that, again, you might want to speak to Mike Espiritu, or you may want to think about coming to an event that Main Street Roswell is putting on. It's called Sky's the Limit. Get your business ready for the air races. And it's going to be happening on February the 27th. It's going to be at the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. It's going to start at 6 p.m. And the cool part about this, Mike, is what we're going to be talking about is, have you been wondering about the National Championship Air Races? What is it? When is everyone going to arrive? How can you prepare your business and the community for the influx of visitors? And the people that will be speaking on this will be the chairman and CEO, Fred Telling.
Okay.
So he's got the head honcho of this whole thing. And then we have the president, COO, Tony I'm sorry, I'm going to say this name wrong, Logo Teta. Okay. And he's going to be there as well. So it'll be a great time for you to ask questions. Many of you have called me asking, when is it going to be? Where is it going to be, Barbara? How do I jump onto this or how do I do that? This is a free event. This is a free presentation. So just give me a call. My number is 914-8017 at Main Street Roswell, or shoot me a text. There is no really registration. My flyer, unfortunately, does say registration, but there is no registration. I just need you to RSVP.
Sure, just to let you know how many seats you got.
Yeah, that I have enough room.
Material.
Yeah, that I have enough material and enough seats. Those that have RSVP'd already, I'm setting your seat aside.
Good deal.
So make sure you're going to be there.
I mean, this is a real great opportunity for businesses, organizations, nonprofits, a lot of folks.
Oh, yeah.
Almost everybody and anybody is going to be benefiting from this. If you're a business, if you're an organization, it might behoove you to have a representative here to kind of just stay in the know and see what you can do to take the most advantage of this.
Sure. So, and I think you hit on a really good thing there, Mike, because if you're a nonprofit and you raise money throughout the year, this might be a good opportunity for you to think about, maybe, can I do something during the air races?
They work with a lot of organizations to do I know they kind of champion veterans groups and things. So,
and I think Boy Scouts.
Scouting and things like that.
They do a lot of that.
So this might be a fundraising opportunity for your organization as well.
So I do have some other contacts for you if you're interested. So give me a call, but I think I'm going to make this short and sweet since you have somebody else,
we got to
Mike.
talk library stuff here.
But thank you for the time.
Anytime.
And you guys give us a call and RSVP for this.
MainStreetRoswell.org is the website. You can check things out. Don't forget, if you're looking to maybe set up shop here in the Main Street corridor, visit Main Street Roswell. You can go to their website. They can help you even navigate real estate and things like that.
I can tell you what businesses, what buildings are open, what locations are available on Main Street.
If you're looking for opportunities to set up shop downtown, please reach out to Main Street. And of course, if you're a Main Street business and the Main Street corridor is really run by the Main Street businesses. And so get more involved. If you want to get involved with the board and volunteer, please reach out to Barbara. They're always looking for volunteers at various levels, from working events to being a part of the board and decision making and some of what direction we want to take Main Street.
And thank you for reminding me about that, Mike, because the UFO Festival is around the corner, and this year again, Main Street Roswell will be coordinating the UFO Festival. So I'm going to be putting some information out. I need volunteers.
In between all these air show things, we got a UFO festival to worry about.
That's right. I got a UFO festival in the middle of that.
Not to mention all the chili cheese festival, all the other things that go on throughout the year.
There's never a dull moment.
Yep,
but you'll get a T-shirt. You'll get the opportunity to help out on Main Street and see what's happening, and it'd be great. We would love to have you. So, call me if you'd like to volunteer.
We're going to need more volunteers because more things are coming. So
and we got a big influx of people coming during that time as well. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Barbara.
Well, you're welcome.
And good on the husband for looking out for Valentine's Day. No need for the doghouse for him tonight.
No, he did good. So,
very good. Thank you, guys. Barbara. All right, it's 9:31. We're going to take a quick pause for news, and then we're going to talk with the folks from the Roswell Public Library. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now, your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Artesia Arts Council is hosting Paint Your Partner today for Valentine's Day. Whether you're a couple, friends, or family members, it's billed as a fun event for everyone and a great way to spend Valentine's Day. The event starts at 7 tonight at 310 West Main Street in Artesia. The New Mexico Department of Health confirming the first case of measles this year in Lee County. This after health officials yesterday urged residents to take precautions due to an outbreak just across the border in Texas. State health leaders say the patient is an unvaccinated teenager in Lee County. New Mexico Health working with the teen's family to identify anyone that may have come in contact with the teenager. Anyone who visited the following locations at these times may have been exposed to measles. On Thursday, February 6th, from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the 6th Grade Academy Gymnasium in Lovington. And on Sunday, February 9th, between 10 a.m. and 3:30 p.m., at the Norlee Hospital Emergency Department, 1600 Main Street in Lovington. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Let's give you the rundown for Friday night basketball action. Start with the Roswell guys. After beating Hobbs earlier this week, the Coyotes are 19-5, 3-1 in district. Carlsbad 16-8, 2-2 in district. Roswell beat Carlsbad by 3 points back on January 31st. Meanwhile, the Carlsbad girls will be hosting Roswell tonight at 7. The Roswell girls still seeking their first district victory. Goddard will be hosting Portales in a girls-boys doubleheader. The girls' game, Portales is the district leader so far with the 3-0 mark. Goddard is 1-2. And the Goddard guys hosting Portales, both teams are 1-2 in district. Last time they played, Goddard lost by 16 at Portales. That was on January 31st. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good
Library. Rocio back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. A little cold, but good.
It's good reading weather.
It is very good reading weather.
Although it's supposed to be like 70 today, so maybe by the
be...
afternoon you can find a tree outside to lean up against and read. But in front of the fireplace this morning's the best place to read. So.
Absolutely.
Which good news. If you are lacking reading materials or lacking these things, we kind of know a place that might be able to help you out with that one here. But not only that, we don't want you to just take the books and go home. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff that goes on at the library here, and I know like this weekend you got some events are coming up.
We
and everything
do,
else.
And more importantly, they're free. I think a lot of people sometimes ask us how much is it. Like, there's no cost.
Yeah, never.
Everything at the library is free.
I mean, every once in a great while, there's a one thing and there might be a $5 deal, but that's like once every millennium. It really is pretty rare. I can't remember the last time it's happened, but I think it's happened like once or twice.
That or a donation, like canned food or something.
Yeah, but these events are all. And thank you to like the Friends of the Library. They kind of help out with like some of the ancillary costs of these things and snacks and things.
Yeah, if there's food, it's Friends of the Library.
They're in the library, so it's kind of so that's also we can do this free of charge for everybody.
Yeah, and speaking of Friends of the Library, it's books again. They've got their bookstore right there and on Richardson. So stop on it. I mean, you can get a book for like 50 cents, $1.
Yeah. Or donate books. Like if you've got books that are still good shape, but running out of space.
Your kids have gotten older. Yeah, for sure.
Pro tip: go through the books thoroughly before you donate, because they'll find money, they'll find notes, love notes, they find all kinds of stuff.
Yes,
in
we do. Even when you check them back in.
Yes.
Like,
Sure, you probably find them at the library too.
Yeah, we find a lot of stuff. So
unless you're leaving tips, that's not a bad way to slip a $5 here or there.
Although they might not. It's an unintentional tip, I'm sure.
Maybe that's a good pay it forward for librarians. Slip a $5 in the book while you're.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
But books again is a great way to support the library. And by the way, just another pro tip: around the holiday season, they'll if they get donations of like brand new books or like coffee table books that are normally like $100 if you buy them new, they'll kind of set those aside and then make them available around holiday season. So if you're looking for Christmas gifts, that kind of thing, and you want a coffee table book, but you want to pay $100 for a coffee table book, that's Books Again's a good place to look at that.
There's some real nice ones, but they are expensive.
Yeah, there's for a book that you really only look at, when company's over.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
But anyway, if you do, there is a certain sect of moms that have to have the coffee table book out there, whether it's waterfalls or whatever's on there.
It looks nice on the coffee table,
and it's a good conversation starter when it gets awkward in there. I'm going to the book.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a great way to support. But in the meantime, there's lots of stuff going on at the library.
Yes.
I know there's a big event tomorrow for the Blackdom Legacy Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had one earlier in the month. They're having another one. Come on, they have some really interesting material. Beautiful pictures.
Yeah, we actually were fortunate enough to have the lady presenting it, Ms. McGinn, here earlier in the week. And so there is a PBS documentary that was done a while back. And I think it was done by the Albuquerque station here.
Yeah.
And it's talking about the Blackdom site here between Roswell and Artesia here. Yeah. And it's about a 30-minute documentary, and it's really fascinating about the story and the history. And they're going to be showing that at the event tomorrow at 1:30 and 3:30. But the event's from 1 to 4, and it's come and go. But if you want to see the documentary, you kind of want to be there at 1:30 or 3:30. And it's only 30-minute presentation.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a cool little, New Mexico history fact. Yeah. It's I didn't know about it until they presented it, and it's really nice. You can go.
It's kind of New Mexico. You don't think of a place with a lot of Black history type events and things, and this is our own backyard, Black History Month. So,
and a big,
and as we celebrate February and that, come learn what's in your own backyard.
And if you're gonna go, we also have our STEAM event.
Oh, excellent.
Kate, our STEAM instructor, she's doing with potato prints.
Okay.
So it's I think you cut out the potato in a shape and you kind of like a stamp.
Okay.
And it's a cool, bring the kids, do your potato prints, and then stop over and watch the Blackdom documentary. Awesome. Yeah.
That's a kind of and this is something, and this is why I always encourage you to pick up the calendar here. I know. Yes. If you're like me and like paper version, you can get it from the library and put it up on the fridge. But there is the digital version on the website that you can
I'm
always
getting on my phone.
that Rocio is using as we speak. That you can access anytime. And that.
Yeah.
But there's for families with young children, like the Mother Goose story times and all. Those are like set things every week. Those are things that you should kind of plan into your schedule, and so especially if you got preschool age kids or younger age kids, this is great stuff for them. And I always throw this caveat because they do Mother Goose in Spanish and they do it in English.
Yes.
Take your kid to both. I don't care what your first language is. When they're that young, you immerse them in this stuff.
Expose them to everything,
and it'll serve them well the rest of their life.
Yeah, and for sure. And it's there. It's great for the kids to socialize. And they're in that age, either if they're getting homeschooled or right before they get into school, they're kind of just spending all time at home with mom or grandma.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have them socialize with kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like for homeschoolers, there's a lot of great resources through these kinds of things for
Definitely.
so and we just live in a world today that you've got to get your kids exposed, like when it comes to education and things, and to be honest, to find out what kids are into, you kind of got to throw the world at them and see what kind of sticks.
What sticks, exactly.
And the library is a valuable tool to help you do that.
Yeah.
And so.
It is, because I see a lot of parents like, he just doesn't like to read, or she doesn't like to read, and it's like, expose them to different things, you know. It's one little boy who didn't like to read, picked up truck books, and then that's all he's reading now. So
when you tell me that you don't like to read, that's like saying I don't like to watch TV. Everyone likes to watch TV. It's just a matter of what's on the TV. You'll like to read if you like what's on the pages.
Yeah, if it's interesting to you, you're gonna.
And that's the beauty of the library. Everything's there, from the fantasy to the silly to the most serious and dry. And everything in between is there for you to enjoy.
Absolutely.
But if if your child's only exposure to reading is what's in a classroom, they're not going to be a reading fan, because it's all material that they may or may not, let's face it, when you were in high school, how many of those books they made you read were like truly, it's a classic, wonderful, I don't care about it. You know what I mean?
When it becomes a chore, it's not fun.
Yeah. Like if you think reading's just Shakespeare, then you know what I mean? People are going to be like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather watch TV.
Or, in old 18th and 19th century literature that, no one talks like that anymore, so it doesn't ring true to our ears and our eyes anymore.
Well, and that's why like Shakespeare's so studied, because we don't speak like that, but every scenario, every scene is timeless.
Yeah,
it's human.
it can be quite.
It's the study of humans,
body and gaudy. So
the things that they're dealing with. Granted, the technology may be different. The background may be different. The bedding, the scenery may be different. But the message and how the humans be humans is the same.
It's human nature never changes.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, I know we're getting sidetracked here. But the point is, we want. Use this library. It's a free resource.
Absolutely.
It's a whole world, and all you got to do is get a library card and maintain it. Don't pay your put your books in on time and do that.
If you need to use the internet, that get your library card, you can do that. And just for fun, next Saturday on the 22nd. Well, the 22nd is next Saturday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Believe it or not, it is.
We're going to have, it's a celebration of L. Frank Baum, who's the author of Wizard of Oz.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to basically be a Wizard of Oz party.
So
We're going to have food,
celebrate
activities.
Come in costume, I'm guessing?
Yeah, dress up.
Come in your favorite, if you're a Tin Man or a Dorothy or a Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
Come on down.
You want to be Glinda, you want to be the witch.
And with Wicked being kind of in the popular thing now, but this is the old school story.
It is.
OG, the Wizard of, follow the yellow brick road.
And we will be playing in the background the original Wizard of Oz movie.
Good deal.
So, Judy Garland and all that other fun stuff while you do your crafts and your activities.
Just a safety tip. If you do costume, do not do the same things they did to make Tin Man look like Tin Man.
Oh, yes.
That's highly carcinogenic from back in the day.
Tin
they
Man,
used more modern things to look like the Tin Man.
There's a lot of makakeup now that's really good.
They learned a lot of science since then.
All of them. I think they all suffered more.
But even still, and granted we talk about the movie, but it is a book.
It is.
The movie
and
was based off a book.
of books. Like it's a whole series. It isn't just the Wizard of Oz.
And so and if I remember correctly, the book is slightly different than the movie version.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
For one, like the ruby slippers are silver in the novel. They just made them ruby so they could stand out on the big
looks
screen.
better in a color movie.
But I'm sure like even now they changed some things.
Sure.
But once you dive into it, I didn't even realize until I started working at the library just how many books are in the Oz world.
It's kind of, like like in the modern times, this Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
This was, through books.
It is literally a whole world.
The Oz Cinematic or the Oz Literary Universe, the OLU.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you might find a new world, a new series to, a 100-year-old series you might like. And
so
get
that's
into.
next Saturday at the library.
That's next Saturday.
And what time is
10
that?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
Come and have fun and get your Wizard of Oz on.
Watch the movie, make some snacks, make, crafts and some activities. We're going to have a giant game of Twister.
Oh, good.
So, before you enter.
And since it is the Oz universe, maybe even if you want to go, what was the movie with, it was the one that came out about 10, 15 years ago with now I can't remember
With
his
James
name.
Franco.
Franco.
It was the
Where he's-
Great and Wonderful Oz.
Yeah,
I
like
think,
he's
or-
Oz, right? If I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So come as Oz.
Yeah, you
It's a
can.
different character, you
It's
know?
a great costume too. I mean,
Sure.
if you can find
You can get the
top
suit.
hat,
get the
tails,
kind of a velour velvet suity kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some
Or
people
kind of-
have one of those laying in the closet and been itching for a reason to wear it.
And if you have one, come on down.
Next Saturday.
Yeah. You can be Oz.
Very good.
Yeah.
What else we want to put on people's radar?
So coming up for next month, we've got, like, as always, first and third of the month, we've got our STEAM activities.
Yeah.
Second Saturdays, we have our food activity. That's the one I ran. Last Saturday, we had frittatas that we made.
Nice.
Really popular.
And this is for teens, right?
It's for everyone.
Oh, this is anybody. Okay.
Anyone can come in. And the next month, on the second Saturday, we're going to make mini shortcakes with strawberries.
Nice.
So come on down.
So if you need want to get maybe there's no chefs in your family,
Yeah.
and you're like, we need someone to learn to cook.
Yeah, or just, it's a good way. Kids last week they got such
It's a great parent-child
It is.
activity. Yeah.
And they loved cracking those eggs.
Mhm.
Like, they were just
Especially as
all
expensive
over.
they are.
Yeah, they were.
See?
But
and they're
good.
free at the library.
They are.
You see, if you can't afford to crack an egg anymore, come to the library.
Come to and crack an egg.
That's a marketing ploy right
And
there.
then I have to point out that because the art museum had all that damage
Mm-hmm.
done, their second Saturdays are now at, or I think they're in several places, but one of them is at the library.
Oh,
So
excellent.
come on down, get your
So if
artwork done, and
Yeah.
then come and make some food.
Absolutely.
But for teens specifically, we do have on the first Friday of each month, we have a PlayStation. They can come sign up, play
cool,
for
like
a
little
bit.
gaming tournaments and
Yeah,
gaming
they-
sessions and things like
yeah,
that.
and
Cool.
I mean, and if like last week we had like 2 people, so they kind of like spent the
They
time.
had a lot of time playing each other, yeah.
But if we get more, then we'll do by match or by time. But
sure.
yeah, come on down. It's from 3 to 5. You drop off your stuff after school.
Sure.
Teens only, so no little ones, just because we want something for the teens to have fun.
It's a teen clique thing, and they don't
It
want their
is,
little
yeah.
brothers and sisters hanging out with
Exactly.
them. It's for the teens. But you
So-
put it this way: remember when you were a teen? You don't want your little sibling hanging out with you sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when mom and dad made you take them everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And then for once you're like, dude, I want to hang out with my friends.
Yeah, we have so much for the little ones
Yeah.
already, so we want to kind of have something special for the teens.
Absolutely.
And,
And I'm going to take a guess, too, the games that they're playing on the PlayStation are probably more appropriate for teenagers, not younger children.
No, so it's, we do have some E for everyone, I guess.
I know, but like some of those games
yeah.
are a little, like if there's a fighting game or whatever they're
It
playing.
is.
Yeah.
I think we have some Spider-Man games, which are more intricate than
Exactly,
just
where maybe, that's
Kirby
more teen
bouncing around or
appropriate.
something.
Not-
Yeah.
You don't want a 4-year-old playing that.
No. So yeah, teens, first Friday of the month, come on down.
But there's plenty of stuff for the young ones, too, with the story times and the
story
activities
time.
and bring them on for the cooking and all these different other.
Steam, the cooking. These are all age events, so teens, you can come down for that. And next on March 22nd, we have Touch a Truck.
Okay.
That was a huge event last year. We have confirmed the fire station,
Okay.
the police department.
So all the
and
cool trucks
all
are
the
coming
cool,
back.
All those cool first responder stuff.
And
have
it's kind of
confirmed.
geared for kids. But
I mean,
adults are just wanting to touch a truck as much as kids do.
Who
So
doesn't
bring
wanna-
kids of all sizes.
Yeah, they
and
want to
ages.
hear that siren. They ask the fire truck to
I
honk
ain't gonna
the
lie.
horn.
You
So
get-
it's
I get in a cop car. I want to blow the whistle.
Yeah.
I want to,
Yeah,
know,
you
get
wanna
on
hear
the
the
megaphone. I
Yeah,
want to, how do you get all the different lights? I want to see every combo.
yeah. So those are 3 big events coming up in March. So
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely. And of course, you guys will be back to remind everybody
yes.
here. And then don't forget too that like each month, I know like 4-H comes in each month doing a
yes,
thing.
they came in this Wednesday.
Yeah, the Master Gardeners do their monthly thing each
Mhm.
month, and so there's various each week things like that going on.
Yeah.
Again, pick up a calendar or go online and get a calendar that weekend. They usually come in if you get the paper ones, it's a 2-month, so you'll get the
Yeah.
March, April one next.
Yeah.
The February
And if
one.
you
so.
open those up, the events are in more detail.
They kind of give you a more
Yeah.
detailed synopsis of each thing and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. So you can also find this on the city's website,
Yes.
roswell-nm.gov, and there's a tab for if you go under those city sources or one for
Yeah.
the library, that takes you to the library, which, by the way, if you have a card in good standing and you need things like maybe download some audiobooks or download some periodicals, or if you need tutoring for children, there's so many different resources that are available to you that are free of charge. And as long as you have that library card in good standing, you can and technically you can tap into a bunch of library resources and never set foot in the library. I don't recommend that, but and through that website is, so if you say you got a quick road trip and need an audiobook, you can get online, download one, and then have it good to go.
That's Libby. That's a great app to have. Another thing that we have, you can access it through the website, to the library website on databases. It's called Comics Plus.
Okay.
And it just has a treasure trove of different comics. And then, so depending on the card that you have, like if you have your child has a card and they're only like 12 years old, it'll only give you it won't give you
age
the mature.
appropriate.
It won't give you the. Now as an adult, you'll have access to all of them.
Sure, but if you've got one for your kids, like if they have a kids profile or whatever,
or they got it at school,
then they only access what's appropriate to their age level.
And it's, so
That's
much.
amazing.
There's also picture books there that they can move, nonfiction, graphic novels, manga. It's awesome.
It's a really cool resource.
It is.
It is. And one other thing I want to remind folks about, I know we're kind of not in the season of this kind of stuff, but you will be soon as tax returns come in and spring breaks around the corner.
They are there already. We've got the packets, the information packets, how to fill them out, and we have the forms. They go fast.
Yeah.
So go and get them. First one is free. Yeah. If you need more because you made a mistake, we might make you a copy, and it might be, charge you the 25 cents for the copy. But first one's free.
Very good. And then, if you need help with any of that stuff, just come to the front desk. They'll be happy to take care of that too. But, and then of course,
not tax. We won't help you
not
right
CPAs.
Yes.
We get whatever forms you need, but you got to
because we do get a lot of questions like that. I was like, we don't know. No. We're not accountants.
Yeah, you're not CPAs or any of that stuff. But check back, because sometimes things happen where they haven't come and we'll help you with their taxes event.
Sometimes
that does happen.
Some business or
they'll offer that as a service, and they may use the library as a location for that. But nothing to our knowledge yet. Here.
No, nothing yet.
But another thing I do want to remind is, when spring break comes here, you might be thinking about taking road trips and things again. There is a great, thanks to New Mexico Department of Tourism, you can get this pass from the library, and it gets up to 6 guests for free into various locations around the state. Some are historical museums, some are parks, like natural places. Some are like, for instance, Lincoln is part of that. So if you want to go see Lincoln and see the courthouse and all that, you can, and go to Fort Stanton too, and all that you show the pass and you can get it for free for those.
Stuff from Santa Fe, Albuquerque, the Space Museum,
some
and
art museums and things. There's like 15 or so different locations around the state. And the list has got them all there.
And if you're gonna stay home, we've got hobby kits. We have stuff with like how to ukulele, how to crochet, a telescope if you want to look at the night sky.
Or kind of getting back to the homeschool stuff. If you're looking for packets for homeschool type things, there's a lot of resources that the youth librarians have put together for teachers and home teachers.
Nature backpacks. Now that once we get into March and April, where the weather starts warming up, where you can it's
like an experience in a kit kind of thing.
Kind
right?
of. You can take it out. There's a history one with like maps, so you can travel through New Mexico with constellations, so you can learn how to look at the night sky and things like that. So there's different ones. Fishing, beginning fishing stuff. We won't give you the rod or anything, but a good beginning fishing guide.
It's kind of like a little adventure kit.
Absolutely,
start a little adventure. You want to go see the stars. You want to go into nature. You want to do some sciencey stuff. Well, all right, let's figure out where our adventure goes this time. So.
You can do a new adventure each week.
Yeah, and all this is the library. So please come in, talk to the front desk, talk to the children's librarian. Talk to if you're looking for resources to even start businesses, or maybe looking to do. Getting to like 3D printing and things like this.
Yes.
There's resources at the library that can help you navigate that kind of stuff too.
Teachers, we've got Cricut machines, die cuts that you can use for your classroom.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff on our makerspace.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so many resources. Library.
You want to learn how to sew? We've got a sewing machine.
Yeah.
So.
Library is really a multi-skill.
It's not just books.
Yeah.
I think that should be our motto. It's not just books.
Now, if you want to come down and sit down and find a nice quiet corner to read the newspaper, you can still do that.
Absolutely.
Very
We
good.
have it available.
Again, check out the website. It's the city's website, roswell-nm.gov. Click on the library tab there to get access to everything we talked about. And then if you do not have a card, come by today. Come by tomorrow. Come by tomorrow and do some STEM stuff.
Yes.
Come to the Blackdom event, Legacy Days event, and then get your library card while you're there, too.
Absolutely. Start enjoying everything.
That's right. The world is your oyster, and it's right in that building.
Yes.
Thank you as always, Roswell.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
us,
We'll see
yeah.
you guys next month, if not
Yes.
sooner. And anything else we can do, please don't hesitate to ask.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Very good.
All right.
All right. Stay cool and warm, depending on what the day is going to bring for you. So stay less windblown. I can guarantee that's going to happen.
Mhm.
That one, I don't know if it's going to be hot or cold, but it's New Mexico. If it says it's going to be windy, it's going to be windy. You can take that to the bank.
Yes.
Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
All right, it is 9:56. Let's pause for, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do our SRM business report and weather, and then we'll wrap up the show. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Americans pulled the purse strings tight last month. The Commerce Department reports a post-holiday slump in retail sales, down 0.9% from December. Shares of Airbnb soared 13.8% after its fourth quarter sales and profits easily beat expectations. The online vacation rental platform saw strong growth in nights stayed. Video streamer Roku also logged a big gain pre-market, 14%, after posting a smaller loss than analysts were expecting. Despite posting a wider loss than Wall Street was looking for, online betting platform DraftKings rose 5% pre-market. In energy trading, benchmark U.S. crude added 63 cents to 71.92 per barrel. Brent crude rose 68 cents to 75.70 per barrel. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty warm today, but we will be cooling off a little bit with a cold front set to drop through. Windy today, few gusts around 30 miles an hour, sunny, and we'll top out in the low 70s. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s to low 40s, cooler and gusty on Saturday. It will be sunny, though, afternoon highs in the low 60s. Clear on Saturday night, and then even cooler on Sunday, upper 50s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
After Solomon became king of Israel, God spoke to him in a dream and told him to ask for whatever he wanted. Solomon started by thanking and praising God. He was humble and admitted he didn't feel like he was up to the task of being king. Solomon then asked for a discerning heart to know right from wrong. God was pleased with his request and gave him what he asked for. Sounds like the young king already had some wisdom when he made his request of God. Jesus taught that everyone who hears his words and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, yet it did not fall because it had a foundation on a rock. But everyone who hears his words and doesn't put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the house fell with a great crash. So how do we gain wisdom? Well, looks like we put the words of the Lord into practice.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Tired of living with chronic pain? Softwave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell is here to help.
I couldn't believe it. My knee pain is practically gone after just a few sessions.
Softwave Therapy for Premier Chiropractic uses cutting-edge sound wave technology to target inflammation and stimulate your body's natural healing process. No surgery, no downtime, just real relief.
Now I can finally enjoy life again with no shoulder pain.
Don't let pain hold you back. Discover the power of softwave therapy today from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell. Call now for your free consultation at 623-2900 or visit healthyroswell.com. Softwave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic, 1301 North Richardson in Roswell. Restoring life.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Trump has given the Hamas terrorist organization until 12 noon tomorrow to release all Israeli and American hostages it's still holding or face massive military attacks by Israel. On the Salem Media Group news program this week on Capitol Hill with Tony Perkins, former U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman says President Trump has taken the handcuffs off the Israeli military, unlike during the Biden years.
Yes, that's a game-changing dynamic. And I think Hamas recognizes that as well. And the only question really is, will they blink? I have my doubts. I mean, they should. Acting as a rational actor, they should blink. Their days are numbered. They're going to be eradicated. They should release all the hostages and use that as a means to find an exit. But that would mean a defeat. And I don't think that they have constitutionally the ability to accept that unless it's forced upon them.
David Friedman's full This Week on Capitol Hill interview will air on radio stations nationwide this weekend, as well as being broadcast at 10 a.m. Eastern Time Saturday on the Salem News Channel. Also at townhall.com, the House Budget Committee advanced a budget resolution. That's after a marathon meeting clearing the first hurdle in the GOP conference's effort to pass President Trump's legislative agenda. We have details from Bernie Bennett.
The panel approved the budget resolution in a party-line 21-16 vote, sending it to the full chamber for consideration. It remains unclear when Speaker Mike Johnson plans to bring the measure to the floor. Johnson and Republican leadership issued the following statement: "This is the start of the process, and we remain laser-focused on ultimately sending a bill to President Trump's desk which, among other things, secures the border, keeps taxes low for families and job creators, restores American energy dominance, and makes government work better for all Americans." The House is out of session next week and is set to return to Washington on February 24th. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
More